Gamestop. We have the chart in front of us. All those potential targets are also marked out across the timelines, along with those important areas below, which likely would lead to a bounce. We've got a gap that we defended the top side of it once. We've got Ryan Cohen's last buy, which is at the same place we find most recent dilution in GameStop. And then just below there, we've got an even better entry, which is belonging to Roaring Kitty. So those are the important artifacts with those big players marked on the chart. We've also got the 15-second time frame, which we'll pay attention to for big ranging moves as we're live on the stream. This, the 15-minute, that shows clearly today's price action continuing that uptrend from yesterday's close. And here you have the 4-hour, where the entirety of price structure on this most recent trend is visible. We can also put that into context and see these were the highs that price needed to exceed. It's now aiming for 49. Should that break, the next target's 62. That'd be confluent with the most recent spike high on this trend. You get back above 62, then it's 85. 85, very close to the all-time high on GameStop, back around 120. If price goes beyond 120, we've also got Fibonacci extensions from this side of the move, which would take us to 143. And if that breaks, there's absolutely nothing stopping GameStop's market cap rising up to extremely absurd amounts due simply to the availability of shares, the low liquidity, the fact that they will be needed in order to deliver. And if price persists above that $120 level for any amount of time whatsoever, it's very, very easy that it could go to $500. Now, that's obviously a top target, really, really high up there. Unrealistic to aim for that from here. There's so many other things that need to be done. And we're not really even yet aiming at this all-time high. It's very much take each rung of the ladder as it comes. And don't get carried away or ahead of ourselves, because the expiries coming up are good checkpoints, good marks in the sand, and good times around which to center your thinking so you don't get unrealistic expectations, which leads to poor trading. And that's very much my focus here. I can tell you all about those crazy moves, why they would happen, the probability of each compared to each other, even roughly when it might go down, but my focus is on making sure that you are safe, and that means taking trading and technical analysis seriously, which would mean you take a cue from their objectives, which is to manage your risk, not gamble your money. So, bearing these levels in mind, the gap, this is what's retailer defending, buying in if anything got around there, and it could get there easily. Let's see what that says. What does it say? Send Kusias on porridge rations too live of a person to afford a big donations at the minute. Thank you so much, Send Kusias. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting into Ye community and daily video. Thanks very much. Send Kukas. Kusias. What is Kusias? Kusias. Is it really that though? Is it even Spanish? Is it really Spanish? Is that what you're saying? Thanks so much for the donation. That's really appreciated. Everything helps, everything helps. And I appreciate it. Thank you. Rowan Kitty video on YouTube tomorrow. Is that true? Kitty streaming tomorrow. Oh my god, amazing. That'll be brilliant. What happens when Rowan Kitty posts a video on GameStop? I suppose it depends what happens in the video itself. That's your very first super chat from Send Kusias, which I really appreciate. Thank you so much. It's good of you, and it's big, yeah. Not everyone does, so I really do appreciate it. Is volume super low? It might be. Can I make it louder for you? Maybe I can make it louder for you. Probably it's your volume, Vic. I think it's your volume because I've got the mic stuff at max. Where's my phone? That would help me. Is the phone the one that's doing it? Does this make it better? Is that the volume better? It might be if my phone was the one controlling the on volume. He's tagging in for this blushing. Yes, it goes live at noon tomorrow. That's great. It's Roaring Kitty Keith Gill's birthday on Saturday. I think he's 38. I think he's 38. So he'll be having his birthday. We'll be live streaming tomorrow, Friday, of course. And hello, Aaron Ewing. Thanks so much. Also spotted disaster after disaster here in Houston. Incredibly tough month and a half. You and GME have kept my nose above the shitstorm. Respect. Aaron, it's so good to see you. Always great to see you, Aaron. You're 21 months in there. 21 months a member. Thanks so much. I appreciate you a lot. Houston, that's where you are, my friend. What's it like up there? What's it like up in Houston? What sort of disasters are we talking, eh? I know what disasters are like. I've experienced a number myself today, or I'd have been on at market open. Sheesh, but I won't burden you with them. Bing bong, the price is still wrong. Yo, Shepherd Unicorn, good to see you. 100 of you have not. Do it. What? Hit like? Wow. Hit like, please. That's appreciated. YouTube algorithm, you know. YouTube algorithm really notices the likes. I think we hit 32. End of the week. Volume's looking nice. Isn't it looking nice? Yeah. It is looking nice. End of the week. Volume's also busy. Let's get the volume on there so you can see what your boy's talking about. Big volume here. Biggest since that push to $40. This is this little island because, of course, previously there was gaps in price above this. This spike in at around 41, this spike in at around 51, and this guy at 65. So your chap in the chat box thinks this is the sort of area we'd be looking to. This is your 236, so this would be more likely 41. More likely is 41, but I think it would be nice. I mean, if Roaring Kitty's doing a video tomorrow, maybe that boosts the price up as well. That'll be cool. Be nice to see. It'd be good to welcome Roaring Kitty back to YouTube. Welcome back, Mr. Kitty, sir. Great to have you back. I thought that maybe he'd be doing other things, you know. Directing his army from in other ways. But I suppose, you know, he gets a chance to speak there on YouTube and make his feelings clear about certain subjects and topics. That'll be interesting. You know how when he buys things and shares his position, Roaring Kitty, when he shares his position, it breaks the stock market. Do you think that when he does his YouTube video tomorrow, it'll break YouTube? That'll be interesting. Wonder if that'll happen. You know, all these little glitches, gamma glitches. So that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see. That's good news that he's back doing this sort of stuff. Good to see you, Roaring Kitty. Hey, good one. Awesome, man. That's really good news. Oh, did I get the chat box onto the screen? I'm not sure if I managed that. Jamie, I made it today. Good to see you, Perkman. 2 days in a row. Was it 3 days in a row? Dorothy, good to see you. Try spotting. Your Streamlabs is broken. It gets to a different address, not yours. Oh my god, really? That's horrific. You can't have it get to a different address, not mine. Imagine all the money all the people have got. All those people. Here's me over here. Edit. Streamlabs.com/tip/tracebot. That's me. Why does that not work? Should definitely work. That should be me too. It should be me. That should be me. That should. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, that's not me. Somebody else has got my trade spotting. It redirects to this person's fucking tip page. Streamlabs been hacked. That's total bullshit, the Chunkinator. Go fuck yourself. There's absolutely no reason that my Streamlabs URL should redirect to this fucking prick. Who the fuck are you, prick? Learn more about their channel. Nah, you prick. So don't use that then. What about Stream Elements? Does that work? Let me try this and see if this one works. It used to break often, so it probably doesn't work. But I'll have a quick look. I can definitely have a quick look there. /tip. No, that doesn't work either. Oh no, what? That's annoying. Why would that be happening? just redirects to their homepage. How weird, eh? Why would that be like that? Thanks for noticing, Madrigia. That was a close one, huh? Weird. Super weird. Oh, trade spotting / tip. It works this one. Madrigia tip me. Top tipper is Madrigia. Madrigia is a top tipper. Then a vis-a-vis. So look, this address here. Look, how do I get that address? Show you that one. Put it in here. Put it in here. Put it in here. That's it. Is that it? That one I just typed in. This one is what's on the / trade spotting / tip. Streamlabs. Is Streamlabs working up there? That's Streamlabs. Save. Okay. So the Chunkinator, who was scoping my donations, must have been thinking like, what have I been doing? My playing of this Fortnite game is really, really good. I must be better at Fortnite than I ever imagined. Wow, these people really appreciate my Fortnite skills. I have really lucked out. Well, the Chunkinator. Too late, Chunkinator. Good name, Mr. Chunkinator, sir. Gamestop 37.79. I like to see it. We're looking for 41. 41. Come on, Gamestop got to 41. Also, if we turn on this here, you can see that it's not managing to make it into the bullish control zone yet, but should it do so, that'll be a break to the top side. If it rolls back down again, hold the center line good, come into the bearish control zone by putting a higher low. Also part of an uptrend. Got across on the MACD. That's not the greatest thing in the world. 30 minutes, everything looks to be quite positive if you ask me. That's a strong bullish candle, so we'll see if it can persist this way. A little bit of a break up here at any moment could really scare the shorts, so it could. So at the head of the show, I'd like to say thank you to everybody on the PP show, in particular PP, who invited me on, was really gracious again. He's a nice guy, you know, like he's a really good dude. Hey, you know, people get known for what you see on their YouTube shows, and they can, you know, people's perspectives of them are defined by, you know, often your perspective on their stock. So GameStop holders, generally speaking, would like me, but you know, they don't always really consider who I am, right? Because I'm a bit of a dickhead. But that's a joke. I'm a huge dickhead. But PP himself, there, you know, I don't know if a lot of people know what he's really like, and he's a really sound bloke. So shout out to PP. And then everyone else on the stream last night was good too. In particular, the chap Travis. He's a nice guy, really nice guy. Learning a little bit about these people. He's an accountant, I think. Maybe also a stripper, but he was certainly an accountant. And I have a particular soft spot in my heart for accountants. In my experience, they make really good traders. Really, really good. Jamie, you're really good, dickhead. Thanks, Herrera. It's appreciated. Yep. George, $20. Boom. Kitty's Never Died. Gifted a membership. And Luis Roberto Rodriguez Tijerna. Got it. Then George. Thank you, George. George, eh? Got a cousin called George. Thank you for your continued hard work and fortitude. Your videos and this community are a steadfast source of positivity and reassurance. Big love. Thanks so much, George. Yes, this community, full of great people. You know, they really are. And the uplifting part of the show to my day to day, the happiness in the tone of voice, it's because of you. Thanks very much, community. Love you guys. Cheers. Love from Boston. Yo, Boston Celtics, did they win? Has that happened? Jose F. Malin basketball, if you're from Boston, did the Celtics win? You seem like to have like a soft spot for strippers. Aye. Hey, well, there's a story about that. Maybe on tomorrow's show. Remind me of that comment tomorrow and we'll tell you a story. Thank you for your continued hard work and fortitude. Thanks, George. It's appreciated, my friend. Really generous there. Appreciate that. Yay, Kitty. £20 from George. Yeah, £20 from George. George, was that £20? Pounds? A whole British pounds? It was 20 British pounds. And thanks, George. Hey, I've got a cousin called George, so I'm a big fan of the name George. Game 1 is tonight. It's tonight! Yo, Jose, that's fucking awesome, man. Come on, Celtics. Roma, Roma, Roma. Roma, 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 Roma. Merrick, why are you not in GameStop? You're breaking my heart. Achy, breaky heart. Katie and her achy, breaky heart. Finals start tonight. Dallas, my town, is going to win. All right, Dexterity. It's Dallas. They're what's the Dallas basketball team called? What with the internet and Google and all, you know, people would say like, can you not just Google it? Wouldn't you just Google it? Googly. GameStop's at 38.64. This is hilarious, really. It just keeps. I mean, it's quite good. Will you be tuning into the Rowan Critty live stream? I don't know. What is this Animatu? You betcha I'll be tuning into that Rowan Critty live stream. I'll also be doing my own live stream, Trade Sploshing, with a drink and, you know, celebrating. I mean, would you like a collab? Let him know if you'd like a collab. I could definitely drop by if he's got, you know, StreamYard or what are those other ones called? You know, those stream things that you can invite people on and they jump on. Like I was on one for a PP show last night, and you just go in and you're in a back room and then they can add you to the stream for a minute or whatever. Definitely do that if he's up for it. You know, let him know. 10 memberships from Madrigia. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you got a gift there from Madrigia, say happy, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That'd be really nice. Yeah. Also, know you're now tied to Madrigia. Your fates are linked forever and ever. Oh, here we go. Lamal. Jamie doesn't even know the Dallas. Boston in 5. It's Dallas. The Dallas ones. I was nearly said right, and you would really be laughing. I nearly said the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys. I nearly said that Dallas Cowboys against the Boston Celtics. At which point you would be like, I'm tuning out. See ya. Jamie Cecil. Alright, Jamie. Yo. Chainsaw Yeti. Firestarter. Christian. Cole. Will G. Carl Davison. Justin Pilarski. And Jack Bell. Good group of folks there. If I missed one, my bad. Yo, Bob. Good to see you. I think my portfolio is so happy today. It's because I finally joined the paid side of the server. Whoa, righty, Nick. Great to see you over there. Appreciate it, my friend. Really appreciate it. With this price action, you can't go MIA. Yes, you can't go MIA. You can't. I had to write an email. It took like 3 or 4 hours. You know where every word and every sentence is incredibly important. You can't get anything wrong. I had to write one of those. I hate those emails. But I did. I wrote it, everyone right. And I had to go and meet a man about a dog, but it wasn't a dog, it was gelato, and it's 10 out of 10 gelato, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much for that, my friend. When Kitty stream? Tomorrow. Kitty's stream tomorrow. It's going to be brilliant, man. I'm well excited to see how he's doing and what he's been up to, you know. If he's got any more later tips, you know, latest tips, what's changed in his process, methods. You know, he's very positive, speaks clearly, cleanly, and, you know, direct about what he's trying to do and how he's trying to help, and explains, you know, it's over $39 now. Over $39, yo. And he explains, you know, yo, welcome to new subscribers. He explains, like, every tool he uses and, you know, how you can get it set up properly and stuff like that yourself. Look at Gamestop, it's just going to keep fucking going, isn't it? Pardon me, he doesn't say fucking all the time either. And yeah, he'd also, but he's not doing charts from the kitchen or charts from the patio, is he? Maybe he is, let's see, that'd be good too. I bet it would not be a life-changing game, so don't get sucked into Romo too much. Bam, don't worry, you'll make it up with us on GME or on something else. Darn tootin', you know, that's a good message to see from Kitties, you know, he's had it hard at different times, you know, everyone has, but Durbam, was it Durbam? How you doing, Durbam? It's great to see you, mate. I feel you, was broke in February and had to sell my GameStop with 70% loss, doesn't matter, imagine you would hold some GME now, what would be the max gain when it goes to 100 now? Yo, 100 from here, it would be, a max gain of something like 170% or something. I feel I was broke in February. I feel bad for you, bomb man. and we'll do everything we can to get you back up to speed and so on. Thanks very much for being a member and all with things being tough for you there. I appreciate that. That's really appreciated. Always got your back. Always stick with you. Don't worry, der bomb. You know, unless you're doing things like trading options and um, able to take advantage of different things at different times. Also able to, like, add to your position using the movements in price, and you're on top of everything. It could be very difficult then if all of those things weren't true for this one trade to really change your life. It's difficult to say that. Obviously it's also difficult to hear that because you're focused on 70% loss and so on, but these things happen. They all happen to the best of us, and we'll help you get back on your feet. Don't worry. Facing the right direction, making real difference. Lovely, I sign closing in 69 cents. Oh my god, it is closing in at 69 cents. It is. It is. Here it is, Lipson. Oh, look, it got up to 68. Oh, it got very close, didn't it? Got very, very close there. Oh, there's important levels coming up, so there is. Wow. I wonder if Kitties likes Lipson. As the roaring Kitties, he probably wouldn't want to distract everybody with his other conversations. He'd probably focus just on that, wouldn't he? He probably would just focus on some specific things. What the frick did this thing open up at? Ooh, that's not bad. This is trying to recover. That could be worse. Surge. So surge, it's finally. It took ages to actually get to the entry there. Boom, got it. Then, not a drastic departure. Percentage-wise, it's quite huge. I mean, this is the thing, you get confused at these low prices, but that was a 30% rise. That's not bad. GameStop up 25% today, nearly hitting 40. And this thing, hold 4, that would be good. GameStop, 15 seconds. There it is, it's right at the target. It's nearly got it, guys. It's nearly got it. Speaking about these targets, there's reasons for them. I can show you this. I think it's this page. Yeah, here you have it. This is the golden pocket Fibonacci from the retracement back down. This is measured from this high, right? I mean, I'll move it over so you can see. Look, this is the high, and like the low. This is the low. It's there, right? Down at this low, just so you can see clearly why what's on the screen's on the screen. And I'll move it back over now. I don't like the big lines it has. I don't think it helps anyone. Anyway, this is the peak. So, and so these are Fibonacci sequence, and we call it a Fibonacci sequence. It's way that sequence evolves gives you various levels here, and then we add in the 50%. It's not really a Fibonacci part of the sequence, but we add it in because it's relevant to the strength of price. If it makes a 50% retracement, you would want to know that. And then also up at the 618, you have this other little quirk of maths where up to 0.65 between those two numbers, we call it the golden pocket, and that's if price makes it through a 236, then you can say it's made a significant move. If it makes it through a 382, then it's perhaps defeated the previous trend, and you'd want to go on and see the strength of that at a test of the 50% retracement. If it gets above there, then you're looking at a very common oscillation high up to around, or low up to around that golden pocket, and that's where you commonly find a turnaround. It doesn't mean the price is going to continue the previous trend and then go all the way down here, but it might do. And if you can exceed that, then it's very bullish, especially in a strong bullish trend. So I would anticipate us, if we go back above this, which we're going back, we're above 41 now, it's doing what we thought it might do, then you're looking at it going on and testing these previous highs up here at 63, and this chap at 52 that somebody mentioned in the chat box earlier. So here's the 15 seconds to watch it. Push, push, bosh. Push, push, bosh. And we don't need the indicators because we already know they're in our favor and going well. And that's what we're looking at there. Kind of interesting, I think. What do you think? Are you happy with how things went there? I am, so far. Take that off. Borrow it even, cause I'll borrow it. this where I wanted to be? It might be, It is. So I was on the PP show last night. It was really good. He was asking me like, genuine questions. How do I feel about, and it's like it's nice to have that approach. You're in an environment where it's not necessarily expected that you'll give clinical, scientific answers to the questions being asked, but I still, tried my best to, to go that way to make those two cultures meet, the familiar, friendly, really approachable culture of the PP show with the stringent accuracy that TradeSpotting's known for. Meet those two worlds meet, which is good. It's an analogy really for the way that the markets work. The way democracy meets crisis, as we've seen at the minute. That's what the markets are. And when you trade, when you open up your brokerage account, when you make these decisions, you leave the safe harbor and face those stormy seas that are much choppier and more dangerous than ever. There's, to my mind, I'm not sure if you agree with me because we're all so very excited about price and how it moves, but to my mind, seeing GameStop at $42 isn't, it's despite how amazing that is, it's not a distraction from the fact that there's a really dangerous crisis of confidence happening. And I think that maybe Roaring Kitty coming back will add more power to this positive conversation and help the world at large understand what it is we're trying to do, because it is not always obvious to somebody on the outside of this movement where it is that we're trying to go. And they'll think like they do, that there's this little crisis of confidence, and they might misunderstand us and our intentions, and they might feel like we're trying to get at them or to change their abilities to make money or impact them in ways that we really don't. That's not our goal. Our goal is for equality of access and to express our feelings on the stocks we like. So that doesn't mean we can ignore it. These people ourselves, we share a common feeling. Those people like Jay Clayton or the Massachusetts senator going after Rowan Kitty, those chaps, they're also aware of this crisis of confidence in the markets. A lot of people would say that it's driven by our actions. Other people would say that the clunky, problematic implementation of the new consolidated audit trail, that system which has been in development for 10 to 14 years. They were talking about it when I was at the bank. It presents us all with ongoing questions surrounding the glitches. Are they related to the overwhelming short selling we've seen in recent years? Is that causing these glitches, or is it just bad implementation? They had 14 years to test the code, so why did it break on the first day they went live, right? It presents ongoing questions, doesn't it? I think it would, I think that we share this sense of unease about the markets there. There's been an intense regulatory focus on cryptocurrency. Pardon me, I've got something in mind. It doesn't seem like it wants to get out of it on its own accord. Oh, I've got it. Yes, this intense focus on crypto, and the crypto community has mostly taken it on the chin, made humor out of these silly behaviors of the SEC, who seem entirely orientated towards chasing crypto firms at the minute, despite the fact that that's blockchain-backed technology and the potential for fraud is much lower. Why is it still at TI? So 10, 14 years of work, still not doing a business. Oh, bada bing. So what do you think? Let me know. Matters are in $5. Joe, Jimmy, really appreciate you coming on the PP show last night. Looking forward to learning more from your insights. Thanks so much, Mad Orison. Joe, you were in the chat box yesterday too, wasn't it? Was that where I was speaking to you? I appreciate you, buddy. Cheers. Thanks. It was great being there. They are really, really friendly group of guys, Really, real friendly group of guys. And, You know, despite the fact that they know how to stand up for themselves, and like, you know, if it gets to the point where it needs to be, you know, that they won't take any shit, you know, they're still really, really cool dudes, really approachable, real good crack, and I like them a lot. I like the audience, I like the whole environment and that there. It's nice, it's really nice. So thanks very much, my Dorison. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. He's also really um, positive about what we're doing. You know, they know about the community here. Not much of a surprise, really, but it might be to some people. You know, they know about the community. They know what we're trying to do. They also respect that, and they've got a lot of praise for all of you. You know, a lot of praise for you guys there. That you might not see if I wasn't telling you. So now I am telling you. Lisbon's made it to 0 spot 689, which is significantly higher. So I got some limit orders. Clearly I got some filled yesterday morning, but you'll be aware I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get the entirety of my money in there. I have a schedule for how I'll be handling that accumulation period, which is only beginning right now. But the point is that I really wanted to get a big chunk on there, like a big, you know, big chunk, like 6 figures into that yesterday, but it wasn't possible. It ran away from me and didn't want to chase it. So we'll see if it comes back, and then that'll be what happens. If not, then it'll be, you know, regularly scheduled. GME was great on a PP show, and I'm sure the show got great feedback. There's my dad, the warrior himself. Great to see you, Dad. Thanks for being here. How are you doing? Dad? I'm going to come and see you after the show today. Bring cocoa. Got some smoked kipper for you. If you like a smoked kipper, I've got one for you, Dad. What nice thought about the PPC audience. They all seem really nice. Thanks, Jen. They are nice. Bridging the little bridge between communities there. It's nice. You know, you're sure there's a few people in the show watching the show now. 365 viewers. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Gamestop got to $44. Also, holy shit, man. You know, I don't know what Roaring Kitty's up to with regards to his position, but if he was going to exercise, you know, doing it up here would really screw it. Would really screw you old market makers. People say, like, why did he not buy different calls? Well, with higher strikes, because he could have made more money on the move. And it's like, sure, but you've been confused by the overall conversation at that point. He's not trying to make money. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's a really young guy. He will, in future, have billions and billions of dollars. And at the moment, he's in a phase of accumulation. And as such, he needs to get as low strikes as possible so that when he goes to exercise, it's as little of capital as possible expended on it, you know? 370 views, but only 44 likes. Wake up, trade spotters. Yes, only 44 likes. It was 40 earlier. We only got 4. Come on, you can definitely hit like. Go on. Remember, like the video says, RT. Darn tootin'. 2 messages in a row about it. 2 messages in a row. I'm a little biased, but my favourite thing about the people show is everyone's voice matters. Important to have a good, productive conversation about what's going on. Yes, that's true. It is, yes. It's great that you get different people on to chat about different things, you know. Normal people from every walk of life. But, like, it wouldn't just be like a conversation of a group of fucking idiots down the pub. That's not what it is. Like, the people there have got their own specialties, and if they aren't known for it in their life and career, they've put effort into learning it and providing value. So I do appreciate all of them. You know, culture of learning, we share that. We share it. So we do. Great day, Deviant Waves. Yes, it is. It's a great day. It's a great day, so it is. Eh? But what do you think about the conversation there, about the crisis in confidence in the markets? Do you think that it's just a naive and immature expression of fear and anxiety to target Roaring Kitty from the regulators or these people who used to be regulators or the legal authorities in various areas? What do you think about that? You know, do you think that they just have a personal dislike for him? I don't think so. I think they're trying their best in a new world with a new culture, and they don't understand. And they share the same mistrust of the markets that we do at the minute. And that's what I mean, this crisis of confidence, this increase in volatility due to glitches and the more common nature of leaks of what should be private inside information now making its way outside. I've seen various examples of it which I've been forced to not trade despite knowing things because I shouldn't have known them, and have to navigate quite difficult roads with delivering information which I'm aware is publicly available but only through extremely strange convoluted actions of other people, or the negligence of certain financial institutions when they come to making loans or contractual agreements, and that they reveal stuff that then gets passed to me. So having to know what I can and can't talk about has shown me that there is a great mistrust, a great leakage happening. And we saw the glitches there at the start of the week that leads to unwinding and rollbacks, further choppy waters. People really understand now that there isn't somebody with their hand on the wheel making sure that we're all okay. In fact, it's, loads of people screaming, reaching for the wheel, and just as they're about to get it, somebody grabs their ankle and pulls them back because they think they should be driving. So I feel that that's a big problem. I feel like it's true about most of the culture we see at the minute. Gamestop still holding 42, it's at that target, still holding it. It's maybe going to be support now. Nobody is selling. Yes, nobody is selling. Do send GME a little bit more during a rant, but this is more of a calm, collected rant where I ask you your thoughts. I think trust is simple. I think it doesn't require a deep understanding of market mechanics. I think trust largely is a feeling. It's a sense, and we know, all of us know, that the institutions which are responsible for regulating our markets are inadequate. We feel them to be, through our experience, incompetent, and there is a slight hint that maybe they're even corrupt. You're probably aware of the intense lobbying process that goes on in America, and nowhere is that so intense. Well, I suppose it is in pharmaceuticals, but outside of that, nowhere is it as intense as it is in the financial industry about topics that are complicated, convoluted, and hard to follow. So I think that it leaves an impression on us which is hard to shake, of mistrust. And I think when we see people like ourselves, people who we share an affinity with, people who, we could say aren't drastically different from like the type of people we are, which would be Roaring Kitty, when we see him summoned up there before Congress, we do, feel like that's very unfair and unnecessary and the wrong focus in terms of fixing these mistakes. I'd go as far as to say that what Roaring Kitty's doing is an exploration of these market inefficiencies and his own way of attempting to correct it. So putting the leash on him, I don't think that would help. I think it would make things worse. I think we all share that opinion. So it's great to see him coming back. And more so with him under the pressure of Jay Clayton, the former head of the SEC, saying that what he's doing is not illegal, but he doesn't like it, so he wants to stop it anyway. I think a lot of us saw that and understood it to be, like Adil Idris says there, so unfair. It's not illegal. It's his Fifth Amendment. It's constitutionally protected behaviour. And people with regulatory authority, who used to be the head of these institutions, say it's not illegal, but we don't like it and we shouldn't allow it. And I think to myself, what a communist bastard, don't you? How else can we see that? Do you know? Or is it he's a fascist and wants the government to intervene in his one exclusive desire? Jay Clayton wants the government to come down off their big hill of governmentness and slap Roaring Kitty around until he can't get up anymore, and then go back and sit up their hill and do fuck all. Like, the only thing that Jay Clayton wants the government to do is to go and annoy a 30-something-year-old man who's got a young kid and like lives at home and is like trying to chase the American dream. I think all of us get really angry. I think we get similarly angry when we see the exchange that he uses, exposing his private details, talking about the schedules of his trades, things that really undermine his actions, and he has to fight this extra bit harder, which is a little bit much to ask someone who's already taken on the world's biggest, most wealthy institutions on his own. I think it's really angry. Get really angry. You know, get really angry right now. No, people exposing his private details, you know, revealing all of his trading history, attacking his individual motivations. It breeds this deep mistrust. Deep trust in those that are responsible for safeguarding the markets. Now, they're not safeguarding us, and we don't want somebody to come along and hold our hand or to make it less dangerous. We want people to stop those who would use and bend the rules, use them against good people, bend them to serve themselves. The regulators perform very poorly when it comes to protecting the individual, and can't really be said to be very effective at policing the institutions. And it leaves us this deep mistrust, feeling that we could potentially be exploited by these firms. Thanks, Janine. Appreciate that. It's really appreciated. Cheers. Hope you boys are doing well. Thanks, Janine. That's for me, Rocky, and all the lads there. Cheers, Janine. So, those people that might potentially exploit us, they're capable of driving prices against us, of course. Apparently it's because they're just capturing liquidity, and that's all in a day's work. But they're doing that move to capture your liquidity, knowing where your orders are, and you're not being protected by the regulators, because those regulators, whose job it is to facilitate price discovery, have instead found themselves worshipping at the altar of liquidity, and they should be smitten down. That's Janine. Thanks, Janine. Coming up on the screen. Janine on the screen. So those who should provide oversight instead worship liquidity. They prioritize closing the spread over ensuring equity and access. And this is a deep, deep problem. This mistrust is worse than just a simple feeling of perhaps exploitation, but it's compounded with other feelings that critics will often dismiss. They'll argue that markets and life is not fair, and that to expect otherwise is naive. Oh, the seagulls are back. Must be because they've heard me talking. I say they, but it's just one. Hi, seagull. So I'm glad Roaring K's coming back. He's got very good fundamental skills, and I wouldn't critique his technicals. They're also much, much, much better than the average trader's ability to assess a chart, and I respect how well he's done at that job. He very much gets the charts correct, and I think that we share that approach. He has his spreadsheets he calls a beast, and I've got my own, which I call a horrible mess. Well, I suppose you would call them a sprawling beast as well. And now people like Theo, over the last number of years, adding more and more spreadsheets, pulling down more and more brilliant data to help all of us trade here in the community. As Gamestop retraces back down, touches below 40, only to continue on up again. So I really think that one of my skills, and I've learned it with the help of yourselves revealing it to me, is that I can articulate what we find to be unfair about the markets. And not in a weenie, yappy, cry sense, but in a passionate search for justice and equality, which is really a big part of what we're doing as traders, all of us, Rowan Kitty included. So that criticism that life isn't fair and neither should the markets be so, and you to expect it would make you naive. Criticism might hold true if we were asking for safety and someone to hold our hand, but we aren't. We embrace the risk. We love this ride. And we care more about our individual choices and our rights and freedoms than we do about some idea of safety. Without these choices, without these rights, without these freedoms, we're powerless and we're exploitable. And regardless of your knowledge or your approach to the markets or your experience and time at the charts, without those rights, without those freedoms, and without those choices, we're just there exposed to the unregulated violence of discompassionate hedge funds who go to destroy your life, your company you work for, and your community it's based in their own chase for profits. And that sort of thing, it really destroys lives and communities and it pulls the fabric of a country apart. This imbalance that we're seeing, it's only possible because there is no middle class. And that middle class getting squeezed even further due to inflation and the problem in housing, which I'm sure you, all around the world, people watching this show right now, are aware of. So we place our trades. Our routers are often routed, our orders are routed to alternative investment markets. The order flow is used against us. Trading desks have been set up, including from Barclays, perhaps the world's most evil company, full of perhaps the world's most evil people who do the most evil things to the most vulnerable among us, who attack those victims in the dead of night in silent, where nobody can hear them scream and nobody can see their pain. That's Barclays. They've got a trading desk set up for the first hour of every morning to attack your money because you trade GameStop, and they don't like that. They don't like what you're trying to do. Barclays don't like that, so they have a trading desk to attack your money. I've brought this up a number of times and it'd be great to hear it come from more voices. But Barclays attack your money, attack your funds, attack your life savings, and try to undermine the story that you tell each other so that they can exploit you some more in other arenas. They're Barclays, and they're perhaps the world's most evil company. There should be no place in the world for a bank like Barclays. It's disgusting, it's abhorrent, and it makes me want to throw up even now. But we don't want to feel this sense of powerlessness, and we know we have some way of fixing the situation. It's just not always obvious to us, especially when we're on our own, which is what we are as individual traders, acting off our own volition on those stocks we like in no particular coordination, just doing as we choose. We would still witness how individuals are discarded and run over, how powerless they are to improve the systems that truly underpin our economies. Yo, thanks for the new subscribers, appreciate it. Delete yourself, $25. Thanks for the TA Insights, Jamie, much appreciated. Thanks so much, Tennessee Texan. Enjoyed the small victory today, folks. The community was brought together by GME. But we are much more than that now. Good message. Phaser, $5. Love your work, Jamie. Keep going. Keep ranting if necessary. Thanks. Vis-a-vis, $25. Thank you for keeping us grounded and perpetually learning, Jamie. Thanks so much. Wow, that's so generous of you guys. I appreciate that. I know everyone else watching along appreciates it too. Thanks so much. Thank those people in the chat box. Thanks. So, these good people, these good audience, these good traders, we feel pilloried, we feel pushed around, we feel chastened by these bad actors. And when we see young, dynamic individuals like Keith Gill being treated in the way that he is, we know that we too are seen to be not important. That our choices are not interesting to those people who want to control the world, that our wants and desires are negligible, and that our power to impact the world around us is very slight. If it exists at all, it's very slight. So those people who have a big impact, of course we respect that. Of course we want to add our power to their elbow. And I tell you, it feels like there's hidden forces working against us. It feels as though they're capable of removing us from the chessboard without notice. And that they could even maybe get away with doing it in such a way that nobody would ever really fight for us. So we fight for everybody. So it's a difficult situation we find ourselves in. I mean, do you guys agree with that? Would you say that we've experienced a degree of mistrust about the markets? Would you agree that there isn't equal access, that there is a disconnect between those tasked with delivering functional markets and this poor implementation of new technologies? And would you agree with me and the seagull outside that these are not new problems? These are not new at all. They're just problems we can see getting worse faster and faster. If you do agree with that, let me know if you also experience it the way that I do, as a great, great betrayal. Yeah, KT's coffee is amazing. So, from the lobbying to the pathetic fines, we see how power pushes back against you and your basic rights. This creates a breakdown. It pits individuals against each other. Their stories that they want you to believe further and deepen that mistrust. You see executives jumping out of windows. You see details redacted that should by all reason be visible and give us oversight so that we can make informed decisions. But due to extremely convoluted contracts and a misreading of your rights by the people in charge, all the important details are redacted, and it takes good people to make good discoveries and for trustworthy individuals to put that information in its correct place, for us to make any headway against these bastards. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but we do realise that anyone could betray us, and that little would be done to right that wrong should it happen if we weren't looking out for each other. So what we observe defies logic and fairness, and it isn't that we're looking for someone to hold our hand. If it was that, then we have each other, and there's thousands upon thousands of hands reaching out to help you. We know the system is rigged. We know that it's purposefully unintelligible. That's why the role you play is so crucial. You illuminate the truth. You help by lighting the path forward for each other. And we celebrate each small step as a giant leap for us as traders. Your reaction to me talking, your reaction to Roaring Kitty, your reaction to seeing Gamestop moving is that it brings through a new wave of traders behind you, and it adds power and numbers to our ranks. Roaring Kitty has highlighted the opaque nature of modern markets. That opaque nature designed to make you and I feel like outsiders. Systems that were meant for us are used against us. And we know a system that's rigged and purposefully unintelligible, that is being used against us, is illegal. And my response to Jay Clayton is, what's happening against us is both illegal and immoral. And my question for you in the chat box is, do we think we should let this persist? Because it's not Jay Clayton that has the power, but you. You are a signal that the status quo is not good enough. Together, we demand equality of access. We will persist until we achieve it. We will not stop until we're all satisfied. Fuck off, Seagull. It's a big shout out then to the Seagull, to the PP Show for having me on last night, to Roaring Kitty and its stream tomorrow, for Rocky Outcrop and the intense effort he makes to level you guys up, to Bill Putley, who's be a bigger part of something coming shortly, to Give Me the Gist, who gave me a voice, to Susan Trimba, who points to the failures to deliver, and to Houston Wade, who brought tens of thousands of people to GameStop before 2021. Together, we make a difference, and we make profit along the way. And that's what they fear, because they realize that power. It's not just the volume, and we can speak softly, yet still at a shattering volume. Nothing will ever stop us. We are going to take everything. Prices are up 22% currently. And it doesn't look like there's much that's going to stop GameStop once it gets going again to the top side. A little bit of a retracement now. Close this week. Looks like whatever happens from here, it'll probably be positive. So I'm going to check in with you, my team, our army, in the chat box. Seagull just wants to watch the show. They won't let him in the library and his phone is dead. That's what it is, eh? That's what it is, folks. Can I get yous on? Can I get yous on the camera of So Do You the Seagull? I think with his protestations. Oh, it's not there. FaceTime HD. Aruna camera. I can just turn it round. You could see the seagull maybe. Can you? It's pretty tough. He's that white thing behind the tap. I don't want to scare him away because, you know, that doesn't change the habitual nature of his approach. It just makes it more gestalt for him. Jamie, do you own GameStop? I got a little bit, aye. That bird is laughing at us. Three Musketeers, GME, the Seagull, and Rocky. Yo! I think they might be in a bit of bother containing the old Gamestop seagull spotting on the seagull spotting show. JS, $99, never break the chain. Holy shit. JS. Man, JS, if I write my book on what's happened, you'll be in it, mate. You'll be in it, and you'll be in nearly every chapter with that kind of thing. Thanks so much, I appreciate it. Zach, yo, you're right. They're an endangered species, these seagulls. It's also the national animal of like Denmark, I think. Certainly everybody over there was big fans of seagulls when I went to visit, talking about how brilliant they were. I mean, you know seagulls are endangered, right? It's probably because there aren't any in Denmark and something, because they're everywhere here. Fucking everywhere. Bullish Gartley right in front of our eyes. Is that a bullish Gartley right up there in front of our eyes? You betcha it is. It's done the measured move from that retracement now. It's caught the long-term trend line, and you know this would be where you'd be looking for a bounce. It doesn't necessarily exceed the previous high there, but you would be looking for a bounce here. Or hereabouts, rareabouts. Back to the chat box and see what you've been seeing. What have you been seeing, in fact? Danish national bird's a swan. A swan, right? Well, why did they like seagulls so much then? And did they get them confused? I think maybe they got them confused, Aaron T. You know, I think maybe they got them confused. Seagulls and swans, what were them looking similar in that? And yeah, they definitely like seagulls. They're a big deal. So can you explain why? The Danish defense hackers are the mute swan. The defense hackers, right? The defense hackers are the mute swan. The cyber team, right? But you do love seagulls, don't you, Scott? Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. You know, you're out here making it look like I don't know what I'm talking about, Denmark. When at the same time, I bet you if I went back, you'd be all up in your seagull chat. I bet you would. I'll wager with you, you'll make a bet. The more you deny, the stronger I get. Tennessee Texan. Hey, BMJ, good to see you. Hey, Joe, good to see you. Definitely is. The return of the Swan Dragon. You too, buddy. You too, buddy. Ah, seagulls, not really. Look at this. Seagulls, not really. Yes, God, you just love them. Don't like, honestly. Jamie, the Truth Springer, is here to tell you that the Danish people in the chat box are going to make out that they don't absolutely pure love the seagulls, but it's them. They're the ones that are pushing for the seagulls' rights. They're the ones that give these seagulls the endangered protected species status. And if it isn't the national bird, then there's probably conversations in the powers of corridor, or the corridors of power, or whatever it is that a seagull would call those places, where they talk about how seagulls are going to be the next national bird of Denmark. Put your hard hats on, boys and girls. People get froggy when they lose everything. Wall Street's about to sponsor an Olympic rooftop diving finals championship. Deviant ways. You know, I hope that's not the way that people react to what would be like a potential rupturing in the markets. I hope that's not how people react. But you're right, it's dangerous. You know, the shame's a very powerful motivator. And losing money can be very concerning moment for people when it's really intense reduction in the quality of their life and their ability to impact the world around them. And if they've used to used to being at the top of the tree, sitting on their throne, then it'll be really, really hard for them when circumstances change. And I hope they don't react in a negative way like that. But I know it is possible. It definitely is possible. Siegel just joined this unbelievable cast of characters that make up the story. It did, didn't it? Is it gone now? Fucking gone, thank God. It's gone now. Green Day, like driving in Copenhagen inner city, you need a joint. You do, but hardly anyone does drive. They're all on bikes. Or not actually on bikes. They're sitting in cafes at the side of the street, drinking coffee or soft drinks, looking at you on a bike, thinking, whoa, imagine you had to actually move or do something. And not just sit here drinking coffee, talking about how much we all love seagulls. That's what the people in Denmark really like, and they do get their joints from Christiania. They get big fat bifters, and they walk around smoking them, and nobody says anything or bats an eyelid or gives a shit. It's like Amsterdam, only a little bit more polite, much cleaner. Amsterdam, every time I've been to Amsterdam, which is a lot of times, right? A lot, maybe, I don't know, 100 more, 2, 4, a lot of hundreds, right? And it sounds unrealistic and that I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. I go back and forth every week, over a number of times every week for years and years. Colin S has become a member. Thank you very much, Colin. It wasn't though, it was a membership anniversary. 17 months on this one. 21,000. $40 calls for Friday would be nice to end up in the money, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice to have those 21,000 calls? Fucking hell. Fucking hell. 210,000 option contracts being exercised. No, it would be 2.1 million. Oh, shares. Oh. Shocking. Shocking. Are we retesting the downtrend since the last run-up? No, Gagani, we're not retesting the downtrend. That's not what happens. You test horizontal levels. You don't test downtrends as much. Though I understand where you're coming from, and it's not a wrong expression, but there's two distinct phases of GameStop's price action. That previous downtrend and this uptrend. And what price action's doing at the minute is knocking on resistance, horizontal levels from the previous downtrend, correct, but not testing that trend. That trend has been defeated. This is an uptrend. What we're doing is we are testing resistance, which is horizontal levels that were put in on the way down. That's correct, and that's what I think you mean. And it's spot on. It's a good insight. Simplify, enhance, simplify, zoom in. You've really got it there. That's right. We are testing those resistance levels. We're also gifted 5 membership from XD. Thank you so much, XD Legend. Welcome to everybody who gets those 441 viewers right now. That's shocking. That's shocking. Holy shit, guys. With so many people around, I hope I'm doing you justice. That's been, I don't know when it's been. I've only had 3 or 4 shows where more people have watched it once than this. I'm gonna have to tell you the story about how I met the Queen if any more people tune in. So that was the promise, wasn't it? So yeah, I've been to Amsterdam loads, right? See, when you go to Amsterdam, the pavements are too thin. And they're also not actually flat. So if you're not thinking like, hey, I'm in Amsterdam, then your body will not walk like you're in Amsterdam, and you will twist your ankle, right? You will nearly definitely twist your ankle. 10 gifted memberships from the Shadow Lepton. Hey, thanks so much. If you're watching and you notice you're getting it, thank the person who's doing it. I really appreciate it. Thanks. You guys are legends, eh? XD, Shadow Lepton, most recent legends. Yeah, 10 memberships. Boom, eh? So I'm going to catch up with this and put the chat box on the screen if you like. I don't know if it's important. I love that bird. Who said that? Vis-a-vis, you love the bird. Okay, I'll be nice to him then. Need to tear it down, rebuild it with integrity, ethics, moral and trust, a level playing field. Deviant Ways knows the truth. Janine W, you and Rocky are champions of the justice we need. We're definitely going for it, Janine. We're definitely going for it, doing it as we can in our own ways. You know, you want your best players in their best position, and if Ronan Kitty's coming back to talk to the people to make a difference, you know, appreciate it. I will try my best to work hand in glove with the way he puts out his content. I twisted the night away. Good idea, I'm not a cat. It's the best possible medication is dancing for mental health issues, and the best possible type of dancing could well be twisting and shouting. Jamie at 40, and someone gifted me a membership to GME. What a day, says Jamie Cecile. What a day is right. It's 39.43, but it could potentially be back above 40 for close. Maybe even 42. Thank you so very, very much. Great to have you, Jamie, and that's a really nice expression, so thanks, I appreciate it. Bird is the word, the bird, the word, bird, 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 the bird, the word. Do you ever find yourself... Guess who that is? Guess who that is? Yes, I'm coming. Guess who it is? You see him? Hello? Hello? Hi? Hello? See the way with birds, right? I've noticed this thing. If you look straight at them, they don't know you're looking at them. But if you turn your head side to side, like that, they're like, oh, he's looking at me. And they start copying you like that. That happens with birds. I don't know what it is. That's the bird there. See him? He's behind the tap. He thinks that you can't see him. Anyway. Oh no. Oh no. What a dick, lol, you're late, bird. Let him in, says Sarah. If I let him in, it would be only a matter of time before he kicks me out. We've also got these laws in Scotland, where new tenancy laws, whereby I'd be a little bit afraid, a lot with that and the combining it with the endangered species shit, that if he gets inside, he might be like somehow provided rights by the local authority to just stay there and have my bedroom, and I'd probably have to start paying him like employment support or something. You know, it's like us, we've been left to take care of the birds, the fake birds that aren't real anyway, and then they'll just usurp us. The birds, it's like Return of the Planet of the Seagulls or something. Took me through my teenage years during the 70s and 80s. What did? Weed. What are you talking about, Scodburger? Me too, love them. Took me through my teenage years during the 70s. You must be talking about Big Fat Biff does, right? What, man? What? Can you see that way he knocks at the window? I mean, that's going to be sore on your face, right? That's going to be sore on your face. Look at him. Go on then, knock the window again. Do your little trick. Dan, 999, thanks for being so passionate and expressing it so positively. Always enjoy your stream. Thanks so much, Dan. Yes. Thanks so much, Dan. It takes such a toll, you know. I really feel it. So I try to keep it positive, but I mean, it's screaming inside, you know. Screaming inside. I feel like I've got 1,000 people just behind my eyes, just inside the back of my throat, and they're all wanting to get out and scream and scream and scream. And I know how difficult it is for people. I know how difficult things are for me, you know. Really, really difficult sometimes. No, it's tough. Like, margins have gone everywhere, right? We've been crushed in the middle. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard to. When I was growing up as a teenager, also like Scodburger, only getting through it with a Big Fat Biff does. And people would say like, there's not enough hours in the day, and I'd be like, well, I don't know, like, I seem to have a free 4 or 5 at least to get stoned off my tits, so. Maybe there'll always be enough hours in the day, you know? I used to feel that, explicitly think that to myself, like, these people are strange, there's definitely enough hours in the day. What does that mean, right? There's maybe you know, not enough years in a life, but there's definitely enough hours in a day. Oh my God, right? And then I went to Spain, and those people, those Spanish people, they think that there's far too many hours in a day. Like, they really do. Like, that you should be asleep. In fact, they kind of split it in half a day, because they're like, this is just one big massive thing. Who invented that? Way too big. Let's half it. Yo, another new subscriber. That's appreciated so much. Thanks. That's really appreciated. Thanks. Where all these new subscribers come from? So you'll be crushed in the middle, absolutely crushed. And now it's not just me, it's all of you. You know, the vast majority of people here, we talked about it before, like you could be earning £10,000, £40,000 a month. And it's still really difficult because, nobody told you you would need to earn that much and save an awful lot so that you could just meet the scheduling of bills that are coming. With the inflation going up 10, 15, 20%, that means that you're 15-20% less rich or more poor. Weezer, $10 for super chat. Never going back to reasonable land. Thank you so much, man. Cheers. Guys, really, really generous. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Especially ahead of the day Roaring Kitty's coming back. You know, it's not like I heard the news, I didn't think, oh, maybe no one will watch Tracerbotting anymore. So I'm aware that like everyone brings their own skills, and I do believe you want your best players in their best position. So I'll do my best to deliver those pieces of information and work on those areas of value where I can have the most impact for you. And when Rory Kitty comes back and I see, you know, the type of content he's doing and the way he's trying to present it, I'll try and fill in and around it. Still offering value there. Spaniards stay up to 2 a.m. too. They do, Diana, but they go to sleep for like 2 or 3 hours in the middle of the day. And it's not just, you know, the people who can't be bothered. It's everyone. It's the boss of everyone too. They also go. Everyone goes, and they don't need, you know, because they go to bed in the middle of the day, that doesn't mean they get up extra early either. They don't at all. Not at all. Dr. Dave, $20. GME, Surge is on the move. Do you think it has much more to go? Surge. I think Surge can go loads more, man. I think that the thing with Surge is that it's up 10%. Nice to see that. I think the thing with Surge is that it can go to, eventually it could go to $282. It's currently trading at $4. So yeah, I think Surge can keep going, man. I think it can. I don't think that that's the way to trade it, you know, like a YOLO short squeeze type thing. I think that it's really attractive to quant firms that over a period of months and years, you could be looking at capital appreciation of really high levels. But there's an opportunity cost to that time in the trade, which would be over time, pardon me for the tautology, ameliorated by the capital appreciation, but the point at which you're experiencing it would be quite impactful, would be difficult, and especially if you've got all your money in Surge and nothing in GameStop and you're watching it go up 26, 27, 28, 30% day after day after day. So it's like important to be cognizant of that opportunity cost if you're talking about anything other than GameStop to a GameStop focused audience. So that's what I'd say. And Lipson, it's fucking brilliant. Lispin, I love that stock. Yesterday, I would have, had I had the choice, or I did have the choice, had I not tried to get an extra 1 cent, like I actually tried to save like 1.3 cents or something. And if that hadn't happened, I'd have had this I'd have had more money in it than the house I'm sitting in is worth right now, which is in part due to the fact that the house had a terrible flood and it fucked it up structurally. What can you do? I can't remember what I'm talking about there. Surge, yeah, it probably goes on, man. It probably goes on, does all right. We're back above 40 on GameStop. 30% moves now. You can't argue with that. We're down to the 15-second time frame to see it going on. What's going on with these stocks? Like, you know, trade Bazinga. You don't know, unless that's written by Soft Food Cart. You don't know Bazinga. GameStop stock surges as Ron Kitty launches video countdown. What investors should know. Let's see. What should investors know? I mean, what should investors know? Okay, like, I mean, I should read the thing, right? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt until we've read it, and then afterwards we can say like they're full of shit or otherwise. Who's this one written by? I'm gonna check who it's written by first. Who's it written by? It doesn't tell us. See that? Just Bazinga. I know it's in Bazinga, but who wrote it? Mate, it's a new world, Bazinga. You know, you can put the name on there, right? You can't hide behind this whole like, we don't know somebody, we don't know who wrote that, and they sneaked it onto the website. Let's just see what they say. Shares of video game retailer GameStop. Look, it's a fucking holding company. They've got $2 billion. They specifically mention M&A activity repeatedly in all their communications to stakeholders. Why are you doing this, calling them a video game retailer? Why are you doing that? Shut up already. I'm having a conversation over here. Or maybe he agrees with me. I think they do that to project. It's like a prejudicial thing rather than like them trying to help you, because everyone already knows what GameStop is, and it's a lot more than a video game retailer, obviously. Keith Gill, appears to be ready to host his first YouTube live stream in 3 years, a move that is sending GameStop. It's not what's sending the shares higher on Thursday. That's an absurd comment, right, to later use to pillory Keith Gill with. The fact that Keith Gill announced that he's going to do a video on YouTube, that happened today. Prices are continuing a move that started yesterday. And everybody knows that, right? Me telling it to you now seems to me incredibly obvious. It's obvious, right? I mean, is there any other word for it? Am I crazy? Like, maybe I'm crazy? Like, see, this is the thing, right? They said that prices are going up now because he's scheduled a video. If prices then go up tomorrow before his video, are they going to say prices are going up in anticipation of his video later that day? And then after he does his video, if prices go down, even though he's only said bullish things, are they going to say, after Keith Gill's really disappointing YouTube video, prices took a knock, and some other weird perversion of the truth, some other strange, unnecessary, and let's be honest, right? Let's be honest, is quite disingenuous, and it's misleading. So I don't appreciate this article, and I've not even got through 2 sentences. GameStop shares trying higher up. The video titled Roaring Kitty Livestream, June 7th, 2024, is set to begin at 12 p.m. Friday. Eastern Standard Time, right? ET. ET. At the time of writing, there are over 12,000 people waiting for the video, which could suggest high demand for the first video from Roar's Kitty video in over 3 years. Is the chat box open? Share a link here if you can. I know you don't, maybe there isn't links shared there. Tell people TradeSpotting's live over in that chat box. Roaring Kitty account on YouTube has over 700,000 subscribers. Gill was the central figure in the GameStop short squeeze storyline of 2021 and 2020. Come on. That saw Stock Soar and David v Goliath battle of retail traders versus short sellers and hedge funds. Man, is that what you think? Okay, with Roaring Kitty account and social media channels, Gill provided updates on this is like the worst, most boring story ever. Why is it important? GameStop soared when Roaring Kitty had been posting on his X account once again. No, again, that's not true, right? That's actually literally not true. Prices went up before he started tweeting. They started moving beforehand, which is why now they're scrambling to blame that on him too, because his buying drove it up. But, you know, in this channel in particular, you know, you watched a show we did, then you tuned in later that evening, or you were on Discord, or you were Wiki Wilkes and Jake and other people who, like, did the research and spotted the details and, like, together combined loads of different sources of data to come up with a real reason to look at GameStop. Unless you're like a member here, you maybe don't realize the truth that this article is completely bollocks. It's complete bollocks. Some people still unconvinced that Gill is behind the post on social media. Like, how are you going to ever convince these people of anything then? If they insist on that. Now he's scheduled his YouTube video. they're going to say what? That it's not his YouTube channel. And then when he's sitting there in front of the camera, they're going to say what? That that's not him. That he's actually a blonde Scandinavian who like doesn't even speak English. Never mind's interested in GameStop. Like, what are they trying to say? It's so very obviously him. The question isn't has it him or not. Like, the question is, does he have extra backing in order to finance excising the options so that he has hundreds of millions of option contracts, so that he gets like 17 million shares, so that he's pushing them right up there? You know, does he keep getting more so that he, you know, has an active participation as a shareholder in the running of the business? Does he become the person who's managing the GameStop investments and working side by side with Ryan Cohen? Does that sort of thing happen? Right? That's more the question than is it him being him, right? Like, the guy is, by any definition, one of the greatest retail traders ever born. He's like me in that way. And it's unusual you would find us both in the same period of time on Earth at the same moment. But then you find Ronaldo and Messi on Earth at the same moment, don't you? So these things happen. And you know, Henrik Larsson is still walking around. He's better than both of them put together times 10. Absolute shout out to the king, Henrik Larsson. So yeah, you know, some people, you just can't tell them. Like, you can't tell them the truth. It doesn't matter how it tastes, what it smells, what it looks like, the fact that it's free and available for them. You can't tell them the truth. They're not interested. So I'm gonna get $10. Seagull knocks. The seagull knocks on TradeSpotter's window, sends the LSPN to 69 cents. Bazinga, probably. Yeah, the seagull at TradeSpotter's window sent. That's what they'll be like, right? Can you actually write that article, Weezer? Or Shost, can somebody write that article for Bazinga about the seagull pushing up prices on Lisbon? It's up at 69 cents. It's done it. There it is. Shout out to everybody. 69 cents. This is a really good buying opportunity. For the simple fact that you could say you bought it at 69 cents and you sold it at $69. 69.69. It's the biggest, most obvious meme in the history of stocks. It's the first romantic comedy short squeeze, and it's there, available for everybody. It's got nothing to do with me, and I would say don't trade it, don't have anything to do with it. It's bad. I'd also say the same thing about GameStop back in the day when it was really cheap. So we'll see. You know, should actually go back to my first videos and see how I said repeatedly back in the day, don't trade GameStop. Don't buy it. Don't have anything to do with it. But in 3 years' time, when it gets down to 35 to 38 bucks, there around those areas, huge opportunities. I said that in my first technical analysis video of GameStop. I said in 3+ years, so three plus years, you'll see GameStop again testing $35 to $38 level. They then subsequently had a split, so that price became, you know, 9 to 10 bucks, which is where GameStop went, which is where the option chain started kicking off, whereas where we saw confluent data with regards to other instruments and other behaviors, which I'm not going to talk about because then, you know, right, you know, well, keep your secrets. Yeah, I'm keeping those secrets. So, and I'll use them again and again to help you. You don't need to know what they are, just that it's effective. And so, yeah, the seagull pushed Lelspin to 69 cents, and I told everyone, don't buy GameStop yet, get it in 3 years, back when it gets down to 10 bucks. Like, that's not a huge surprising reveal to people, because I also said it probably once a month for every month of those 3 years. And when it got close to it, I told everybody to get it there. And as other people like Latif were saying, wait, don't buy it until, because it's going to $9 before earnings, and if it doesn't, then wait, because it'll go back there afterwards, and effectively caught everybody out so that they couldn't buy the bottom in his community. He caught them all out at that moment when he said that. Now people will say, like, I don't know, he didn't say that, blah blah blah. I've been sent clips by people who watch him and hate him, and who want me to make videos about how pathetic he is. So I've seen all of this, and a lot worse than that from him. That's not the point of this conversation. I told everybody that that was a great entry, and a lot of people subsequently took that entry and did really well, and they didn't do it because I told them to. They did it because it was of their own volition, and when they were making that decision, it was their own. And if it was you that did it when you were doing it, you'll feel that that was the truth, because you should, because it was your money, it's your risk, and it's you empowering yourself with your own conviction, and you did amazing to be there and make those trades. And as you do with anything you trade, it's the most dangerous, high risk, most difficult competitive environment in the world when it comes to making money. The only thing that doesn't happen in trading that could make it more dangerous is that you don't have people shooting at you and trying to blow you up. But if you did, then it would be. So shout out to everybody who's withstood conditions like that and is now finding themselves here again, trying to make the world a better place. Shout out to you people. Yo, so that's Lisbon. It's flying. It's going to keep doing amazing. If it doesn't do it all in one go, I don't really care because it'll get cheaper and I'll buy more of it and I'll keep buying more of it and more and more and more and I'll keep buying it. And I've got Uno sent to us by Ali B. Brilliant set, Uno set. Did you see it? There's a lot of people here, so you maybe haven't seen it, but this is an amazing Uno set. I'll get it. Right, it's Uno, but it's our cultural touchstone. It's Uno with the obey art, you know? What a neat little book. Oh my goodness gracious me, I'm a big fan of this, you know? And we'll be looking at this when Lipson's going on its crazy runs. We'll be having laughs like that too. Not financial advice, and nothing's certain, but when Lipspin goes on its absolutely crazy runs and everybody's laughing and falling over themselves, crying and joking and cheering and partying and pretty much unable to contain their excitement and their feeling of impact and the real difference they're making in the world and their own lives, then we'll be playing Uno and we'll be watching. We'll be watching, maybe even with spreadsheets and positions and other exciting stuff. We'll see. GME, $40. $40 and change. The issue is this is the retracement here could be considered to be only enough to then turn around. As you can see, the golden pocket filled, 3 touches. You had your bearish divergence at the top side there, so swale your swing. And may well be then it comes down to test the previous lows. Those ones would be in around 39 and change. Let's call it 39.50. That doesn't hold. Then 38.40. That doesn't hold. Tested this previous low at 36.92. Could even be a little bit lower, but most of that is because we're coming up for power hour and people want to see how that starts and ends. So why would I run 2 fibs? I don't really know why I've done 2 fibs. 15-second time frame. I also don't really need the momentum there. I can tell what it is anyway. So you know how these indicators are calculated, right? I have explained it a number of times. It's the RSI and the MACD. If you want to know more about it, let me know. Right? I can explain who made it, why they made it, what it's supposed to do, whatever it is that suits you. Just let me know. Happy to do that if that's what you're interested in. Eh? Or I could just do it for you and the seagull. The MACD, moving average convergence divergence, is trend following momentum indicator. It shows a relationship between 2 moving averages of any equity's price. 40 spot 50, there it is. Calculated by subtracting the 26 period exponential moving average from the 12 period exponential moving average. Some people would tweak those settings. And then you get this MACD line. That's that subtraction gives you a new moving average, which is the MACD line. You also then draw over that. There's the MACD here. Fast length, slow length. There's the subtractions and whatnot. Yay. It's moving 9. Blah, 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 right? The point is, when the MACD line is crossed by the signal line, the MACD line gets crossed by a signal line. If it's going up, it's a good long signal. We use qualifiers, and those qualifiers are that it crosses below the center line. So in this particular example, those areas are across here. It's below the center line, and you look for the bullish move. It's a momentum indicator, remember? So there's another. crossing from below the center line, that's a long side signal. And you get a number of them. Here's another, crosses below the signal, another alongside. So we can put it on here and I'll show you. Oops, that's not what I need. There's one, there's one, there's one. Now all of these crosses come below the center line with the MACD line crossing the signal line. Here's price, went up. Here's price, went up. Here's price, went up, right? They're all long signals, and in each of those occasions you got a long trade. That one was 23%. This one was 7.98% really. This one was 7.8, right? 8% really. That's loads and loads and loads. It's loads and loads, so it is. Anyway, that's the way that that indicator works. Price action back at that golden pocket, putting in a V-shaped recovery, having held that most recent support target, and we'll see how it continues. Remove these. So that's how the MACD works if you were interested. What it does, demonstration for you and some proof that it works and could help you as a trader if you want to learn more about those things. I've got a course which will really, really help you understand how to use MACD. Bada bing, bing bing. Ryan just subscribed. Thank you very much. Welcome, Ryan. Weezer, ho ho ho, 69 cents. Whoa, hey. Cheers, Weezer. If you'd like to know more about MACD, just let me know. Take the course, get professional help and lifetime coaching. That's really why there is a fee at all on the courses, because I'll be with you for the rest of my life. Some chick, $49.99. Holy shit! Thanks for streaming this week, Jamie. This is so much fun again, and you and Rocky have made so many of us so much wiser in so many ways for all that's going to come. Thank you so much, Some Chick. Love you all. Thank you so much, Some Chick. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so very much. You mean if you Paul B gifted 5 trade button memberships? Thanks so much. There's Vis-a-Vis who writes the chapters. You know, like on the internet, most people that are using the internet regularly are men, and part of that is because there's also like a crisis of loneliness in men, especially I think above a certain age there's a crisis in confidence, certain crisis in loneliness, so it tends to be that there's more men on the internet. On a website like YouTube, it tends to be still further that ratio, that even more of the people here, Captain Number 1 has become member, 10 to 5 membership gifts for the last 5 lucky people. Thank Paul B. Nice guy. There's his family in his profile picture, just like any of us, a normal, nice guy, doing us all favors, getting memberships there. Love that. Thanks so much, Paul. Appreciate you, mate. Dear GME, you're my hero. Wiki Wilkes, you're my fucking hero, mate. You're my fucking hero. Yes, so like that's the true story. And in GameStop too, there's a sense of injustice, right? A sense of injustice, and I think personally that that's something that actually, you know, women are more aware of from an earlier age, even perhaps. So I think it's particularly positive, and I know others would say it's not even worth mentioning, and I sort of empathise with that point of view too. But I think, you know, in GameStop, a lot of the voice and the culture is from women. A lot of the cultural cues and the direction of the conversation is due to the fact that we're blessed to have like an awful lot of women are also in GameStop. So when I saw Andrew Tate's comment that women don't care about it, I felt like that was, you know, well, I know he said it in jest, and I understand the form of communication that various influencers use to get attention, and that it overall serves their purposes without necessarily representing their true thoughts. I feel that in response to that joke, we should also be cognizant of the fact that if it wasn't for the women that are pushing GameStop, then the conversation wouldn't be as kind, we wouldn't be as effective, and we might not achieve these goals. So it's only for the fact that we have such a good mix that it's possible we're ever going to get anywhere. And I really appreciate everyone on this channel who who acknowledges that, and in particular who composes those people, and could have easily been the sort of thing that when Andrew Tate's joke came out that people like it took it on and laughed more. But I don't think that it's fair or it's right to make jokes at the expense of a marginalised group in society, and that's what women are and have been since long before the fucking internet was invented and long before they started fucking with the financial market. So to make jokes at the expense of any marginalised community or worse stereotype is unfair. I think it's right up there with like the same thing that's wrong with being racist. Don't do that sort of shit. Just don't do it. No need for it. Your problem is with you if you've got that, and you should fuck right off. Now, I'm not saying the harm is the same. I'm not saying it. I definitely am not about the whole whataboutery. This bad is equal to that bad. But the mechanisms are the same, that prejudice, and that I think it's a real obvious thing. Now, Rocky Outcrop on his channel, on his Discord, celebrated International Women's Day, and a number of people left the Discord who were big members of other YouTube channels or big influencers who would have taken a note and an interest of how effective Rocky was. And they sent him a message describing their situation and why they were going to leave on him celebrating International Women's Day, and quite right. He told them where they can go, right? They can go and fuck themselves. And if they ever change their mind, they can bend over, put their head between their legs, kiss their own arse, and apologise to their own arsehole, because he wasn't listening. And he never would respect them again for being so stupid. Fully grown men saying these things. And that was all after a number of different So I'm glad that that's not happening around these parts. And if it did start happening, you'd get banned. Thank goodness for this community and the men here who are always respectful and not chauvinistic poopy butts. Women are under assault over here. Unbelievable. Good riddance, you're telling me. Those boys don't love their mama. That's another thing, what's going on with their mums, that's the way. And I understand, like, a lot of this, like, Andrew Tate in particular, has a lot of respect for his dad and the chess, and, there's a real important dynamic going on there, and I appreciate and respect that too. I do sense that, like, compassionately sense the love he has for his dad when he talks about his life there. You can tell I've heard what he said. So, and I've not got a critique about that at all, and everybody's got redeeming qualities, and that's a huge one, but you have to stop fucking people off, right? And hard to agree when I've been abused by women all my life, my mother being the worst one. Yo, Andrew Robertson. Yo, Andrew Robertson! That's a goddamn Scottish name! Legend. Yeah, it can be hard to agree with things, and our own personal experience doesn't always prove true. I'm sorry to hear that, Andrew. I'm sorry to hear that. It's tough, that. That is tough. I'm really blessed and lucky with my mum. She's an angel. She really is an angel. But I know that's not always possible, and for everybody have different experiences. But we can't judge a whole group of people based on what one person does, which is like, that's kind of, we know that, Andrew does too. That's a nice expression he's put in there. He's not arguing with us. He's pointing out that, the truth is nuanced and complicated, and experience isn't always brilliant and perfect for anybody. And I can tell you, if you've ever traded GameStop, you fucking know that's not. That's the truth. So I wouldn't want to trivialize what you've been through there. I appreciate that, respect that, what your comment says there, Andrew. Yo. Mum's side of the family is from Scotland. The Smiley's pronounced Smiley. The Smiley's from Scotland. Hey, Nick. Papa Giorgio. Nick Papa Giorgio. Well, you're still Scottish, mate. You're Scottish. You're right up there with the rest of us. If your mum's Scottish, then you're Scottish. If anyone came and stayed in Scotland for, I don't know, like, let's say you were here in Scotland for 5 years, you'd be as Scottish as me. If you were here for 5 years, you'd probably be as Scottish as me. I think you would be. Nice to have a fellow countryman covering this. Respect to you, bro. Been following since 2021. Scottish Ape, thanks so much. I never really know how many people are Scottish in the chat box, and I don't want to push anyone to reveal anything when they have a Scottish name, but you can sort of tell with a sense of humour because it's kind of better than everywhere else. Who is your prediction to earnings? Through earnings, well, if it closes at 42 this week, earnings are next week on Tuesday, right? So 42 or 66 if it goes up. Boom. It is indeed. I was named in honour of my great-grandmother from Edinburgh. Fuck yeah. Edinburgh! Edinburgh! There's a number of beautiful places in Scotland, far too many to list or count, but Edinburgh is one of the world's most beautiful cities, and if you don't believe me, just do a quick Google search. Sending mom hugs your way, says Katie. Andrew, you got a lot of love here, Andrew. You'll get a lot of love out here, my friend. Appreciate you, buddy. And that honesty, and that expression, that introduction, I'll go a long way. You're a good man. Good man. And the way you said it too, I respect that a lot. I think they are part of the MacLachlan clan. We'll have to double check. Do double check. You know, you have to know these things. You've heard of the homecoming when all the clans meet up in Scotland. Everyone, the massive disparate Scottish diaspora. The disparate diaspora. The Scottish diaspora returns home for the homecoming. And all the clans meet up. At the bottom of my street, they all meet up. They walk from the castle, which is at one volcano, down to the palace, which is at another volcano, via my street. And then in the park at the bottom of the street, beside the palace, next to the other volcano, they all meet up and play bagpipes, and like clans meet each other, and they have a great couple of, I mean, I say it's a day, but it lasts a lot longer. They all wear their own tartans, and you should think about it, you know, if you've got Scottish heritage and you don't know about the clan meetups, look into it, you'll have a great time. I'll be there. Boom, I'm 7% Scottish, says Raph. 7%? My God. Man, you 7%, so you'd only need to be here for about 3 months and you'd be 100% Scottish. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good result. $4.99, it's appreciated. I'll speed this chat box up here. You're here, I'm going away. Love is a key, but United States isn't me. United States isn't me, BMJ. BMJ, you're an international man. Most definitely. Maybe Antarctica. No, I don't know. I don't know, man. You're an international man. You can't be in any one place forever. It's a tragedy that I've been tied down. You know, you've been to the center of the earth, and it's not an analogy. You fucking have been. And more places on the surface need to meet you, my friend. Maybe Antarctica. Maybe Loch Reasonable Land. Can't grow weed in Antarctica. I wouldn't bet against it, CC. I wouldn't bet against it. Misogyny kills women statistically. It doesn't matter if people don't agree with Women's Day being celebrated. Biggest reason for pregnant women to lose their baby in the first trimester is men. Fucking hell, that's awful. Is that true? Fucking hell. Hello, live people. Hiya, Aventine. Yo, Corman. Traceman, my last name was Mackay before my family came to America. Whoa, that's... Whoa. You know, it's sort of like with every Scottish name I've heard today, it's not just been like, oh, that's vaguely Scottish. It's like, that's really, really Scottish. Tracepoint, we lacking 100 likes from them that's being fannies and haven't hit the like. Oh my goodness, hit the like, folks. Is RK actually stream tomorrow? Where does this gossip originate? I think it's from his channel. I think he scheduled the stream and put his name on there and has got like maybe even a chat box. There's definitely people like have clicked interested and are waiting to see it. As soon as we break 41.80 again, it's gonna halt Lamau. Yo, Jose. Well, it's been there recently. It's like they halt it based on the volatility, you know, the dispersal of prices over a range. Now, I defined that volatility as that. I don't think there is as concise and as accurate a definition of volatility that's ever been invented. It's me that said those words. It's the dispersal of prices over a range. That's what volatility is. And I improve the English language by improving the definitions, not in some narcissistic I'm smarter than everybody else in the world kind of way, but just to acknowledge that I did do that and it did happen. So the way that these rules work and these halts is that it's the amount that price moves over any given period, and if it's a bigger percentage than tolerance, then they halt the market, because volatility speaks to the potential for a low spread, which is seen to be price inefficiency. Price efficiency and the velocity of trading is seen to drive the accumulation of wealth, and so that being the purpose of the markets, they feel like they're not serving their purpose when volatility exceeds certain tolerances, so they put in this halt. And so it's not just about price getting to a certain range or a certain area that'll halt it. It's also that it does it within a certain period of time. So getting back above 41.80, just like that, would lead it to potentially going, like you mean to say in the second part of that sentence, which I'm like kind of jumping down your throat before you finish there. Thanks, Lipton, that's appreciated. So, but don't abuse it or whatever, but just to let everyone know, that's brilliant, thanks. And if everyone could just mention it in a nice, polite way, then that would really work. Like, everybody. Without pissing people off. So, yeah, let them know I exist for sure. That would be good. I mean, I can definitely help. So, if they want to tune in, you'd be so very welcome. Good people here welcome you. Yo, wackanya, nya, Wakina. Sorry, I got it there. Eventually. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could go together one day? Frickin' Tennessee, Texan. I'm going to see everyone after all this is said and done. Yep. After all this is said and done. Yeah, I'm going to get yous all over here. After this is all said and done, I'll be getting yous all over here. Meet up for tea. That's a joke. Okay, real tea. 6 p.m. Yes. Yep. That would be awesome. Darn tootin'. I'm going to bring yous all over and your families, and we're going to have our clan meet up. Luckily, I bought coals in the morning. Psych Panda, there's no flies on you. We're all meeting at Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole! Yeah. I love that joke. I sure love that joke. $42. $42 and rising. Prices on the move again. Trade spotting. How about a trade spotting festival bigger than the Fringe? That'd be tough, man. The Fringe is the largest open air festival in the world. Gaston Hole. I wonder how Gaston's doing. Man, that guy worked hard. Jackson Hold. I have the best times I've had in the last 2 years. I've been on trips with some of these folks. Yay, that's true. They were ruined though with that creep Dave jumping in. You know, after he like tried to attack Rocky by taking screenshots of things he said, which were perfectly innocent and good things to say, and then taking them totally out of context to create a misunderstood, incorrect impression of him. Because Dave himself is a loser. When he finally gets round to apologising for that, then maybe there'll be room for a forgiveness. But it's been a while, eh? The clock's ticking, Dave. You tube, sort it out, mate. Sort it out. See, things like that, it's like those sort of injustices, well, they'll never end. You know, they'll never be finished until the person makes sure they are, or until I make sure that that's. And so those people, they should be wise to finish those beefs they've created and fix those mistakes before everyone else has to do it for them. I hope our old friends come back. Chippy, Wild Bee, and others. Yeah, big time. Chippy! Where's Wild Bee at too? Lepton, $10 chat. Go into Kate's live chat and let them know that we're live over here now. Slow mode chat is on. Slow mode chat's on in Kitty's. That's so that he can read the comments that come through. You know, I had to do that a couple of times. Only twice in the history of the channel I've had to put slow chat mode on. The reason you do it isn't to piss people off. And although that I don't think you're subject to the rules. If you're a member, I don't think that it matters, right? I don't think there is a restriction on you. But that's not why you would turn it on, to make people become a member. It's simply because it's difficult to see all the messages going past. And so the reason you would be doing that is because he wants to see what you've got to say, as opposed to him wanting to slow you down. So just pointing that out there, you know, because the GameStop investor base is highly autistic. Not for any critique there. I'm not making a critique. I'm saying that focus on detail, that not letting go of injustice, and that intense hyper focus that's possible, that is a quality brought to the investor base because of the large degree of different types of pathologies and neurologies and people involved. And if you've got any idea of what I'm like, or if you've watched me for long, you'll know that I've got a degree of autism on the spectrum for sure, and I've got strong ADHD, which is definitely not slagging anyone. I know that it actually takes years off your life expectancy, and it leads to other problems too, huge problems, and I'm very compassionate for people who have them and may get them myself in future. So it's not a slagging you, it's not at all. But Jesus Christ, you're so fucking autistic, it's insane. So the reason he's got slow chat on is so that he can hear from you, not the other way around, right? In case anyone gets mistaken there. I talked when it first came up. I don't think slow was on then. That means he's reading the chat right now. That means he's in there looking at it, reading it right now. And wouldn't you be if you'd set it up? Autism's a horrible curse, but in some ways it can be a blessing too. You're damn right, kitties never die. You're damn right it is. You're damn right it is. And like the most defining aspect of autism is the extra ability it gives you in certain scenarios. Sure, people will recognize instantly the difficulties that you experience with it. But what isn't communicated very often is that the most noticeable aspects, the most impact it has, is the benefits it gives you. And I'm not saying it's a superpower. That would be really, really unfair to people who have it to say that. But you know, it gives you abilities that other people don't have. That's very true. Gamestop's at 43.50. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm the autistic dumbass. Look at this. Sorry, look at this. I mean, I was thinking 42 would be perfectly good close for, like, even at earnings, you know. If it does go above that, yeah, you're talking like there's this intermittent high here at 44 and change. What, right, we don't really care about that. If you're looking at this on the 15-minute time frame, you can see that this most recent peak here in at around 65 is way more likely. Buckle up, Roaring Kitties. Social media reaction news, Roaring Kitties' first live stream in 3 years. Buckle up. Buckle up, fuckleheads. Roaring Kitty's got a show tomorrow. Everyone in the world's going to be buying it. As I was saying on the PP show last night, the girl at the checkout, the guy at the pump, everybody, your boss, your wife's boyfriend that you don't know exists, the one that you joke about, you know, your kids' friends, right? The bus driver who picks up your kids and takes them to school, the teacher who is at your kids' school, who helps them learn maths, the people that they talk to in the break room. It's about GameStop. The people who I called out 2 or 3 nights ago, the licensed and standard officers, to come and witness the amplified music coming from the commercial establishment that's attached to this building, which is not allowed. You shouldn't be hearing amplified music in adjoining properties. The people who play that music in order to generate economic capital and revenue, they shouldn't be causing pollution to other people, which is what noise pollution is. Obviously pollution is harmful to your health and it shouldn't be happening. Those people, I called the licensed and standard officers out, and I've been calling them out regularly, and they came out, and there were 2, they're absolute legends, like, fucking love those 2. They came out, and they said, oh, well, GameStop, hey? that was it, you know? So, not everyone knows, but people remember, and then they know, and it happens, and it spreads. And that'll be more of the same, you know. So the conversations over the last 3 years have been how irrational yous are. You see, that's my back garden that they're doing that in. They're not even allowed to be there. It's for dwelling houses only. But, you know, I tried to talk to them about it, and 4 of them who work there assaulted me, right? Assaulted me. And they took my washing off the line. So it's actually a drying green, that's what it's called. And they insisted that it was theirs, but they don't even know, right? They work in the kitchen, in the bar. They couldn't possibly know the property boundaries. It'd be a silly conversation to be even having with them. But that's the way it is. We all have our little fights. That's not even an important one going on right now. I'll deal with that eventually. It's not even important. Thanks for the new subscribers. 479 folks. Great to see you. Shadow Lepton. Thanks very much. Wakina. Yo, Raf. 7% Scottish. Some chick. Thank you. Weezer. And Dr. Dave. So that's what we're looking on GameStop here. If it does go on higher than that target of 65, this is what we're looking at. This retracement from that high at 65 to the low back down towards the gap, which we defended on this move up again. Back towards Ryan Cohen's last buy on GameStop at $22. The same area where we saw that most recent dilution, and that is no coincidence. And Roaring Kitty's most recent entry on his shares overall on average is in at around $21 and change, $21.86 or thereabouts. So this has been the reaction from that area, and we've seen his tweets, we've seen his position, We've even had the exchange who facilitated it, revealing details that he didn't against the law. We know everything about what's going on at this area, and tomorrow there's a live stream where he'll be talking about stuff, people will be buying it, and price will be going up. That'll be interesting to see. That'll be enjoyable. Also true to say that it's a new month. People will have been paid. If you're on a weekly schedule, tomorrow's Friday, you'll be getting paid. There'll be a lot of people around the world at different times have already been paid by the time his show starts. And then when it clicks through to Saturday, it's his birthday. It's his birthday, which is a nice moment, isn't it? And I think we can all, if you're capable of empathy, of imagining how you would feel and imagining how good he must feel, and want to contribute to more of that positive feeling among all of us. And where will that be? Well, it'll be up around these extension targets. We get it back to the previous high, obviously 46, 48. I don't care about 786, and it's just that marginally above the previous high of 44, 45. I don't care about the 786. That's the Fibonacci sequence. It's the area within it that's, proximate to the top, near 100% there. Retracement back against the move that caused there to be a need to measure it. So I don't care about that area. I think that if you get back above 46 here, you won't even care about 48. You'd be looking at the high there across at 64, 43, that sort of area, this guy. After which you're looking at this breakout, right? And that breakout has got important areas looking left. You can see here the 1.13 at 76.21, exceeding this area with previous high 65. This is approximate between two important levels of resistance. So maybe you go on that little bit further where we had those two touches at $85, and that makes lots of sense that GameStop could be pushing towards 85. Those important open interest nodes at 30, clearly now well in profit. 35, 40, 45, 50. Huge amounts of volume, huge amounts of liquidity being won back for the long side to be deployed likely again. If they're not taking the money, they're exercising the shares. If they are taking the money, it's likely to exercise more shares. It's in an uptrend. They're pyramiding into their positions. They're making them bigger. They're driving the trend. I say they, but I'm one of them. And we're not doing it in concert. We're doing it on our own. And it just so happens to all work out around the same time, at the same prices, because we're good at technical analysis now. GameStop surges as Roaring Kitty posts his upcoming live stream. As he does. Yes, now that's how you write that sentence. Not because he does, which is obviously bollocks and suggestive of manipulation and how people would love to castigate us later because you scheduled that live stream in order to cause this so that I later lose money. It's like, no, you lost money because you're a stupid dumbass who thinks that you're smarter than a whole movement of people who just want to like a stock. Can you not just piss off and short something else for once? Like Andrew Left guy. You've got a condition, you've got a serious condition, mate. You should get it looked into. No offense, you should get looked into. It's obvious to everyone who meets you, you should get that looked at. 143 is the 1618 extension, that'll be back above this previous high. You can see the 1414 is actually 1414, one spot 414 at 110 spot 2. That'll be what to look to. Now, if you do exceed this previous high, I would ditch that fib. Why? Because this is a swan dragon, okay? I've talked about it. If you can't remember why and you've asked me in the last few days, just go back and watch the swan dragon video. This is then flips to swan dragon breakout. And swan dragon breakout is this guy. So your 1.13, it's up at 168. Your 1.414, that's 341. And then your 1618 is 570, which is where you also find the 2618 of this guy at 520. And that's why my targets on a crazy breakout from GameStop and the Swan Dragon finally activating is in around this box here. This is the box that Andrew left, that pretty much everyone, pretty much every professional trader, all the suits, all the people in neck attire, all the people who slag off Roaring Kitty and try and attack him, the people who want you to lose and who go out of their way to control all forms of communication and all publicity around the stock to make you feel and seem stupid, that is where they finally see what their own intestines look like when they finally managed to invert their spinal column and force their head right up their own rectum. That's where it'll be. And it could be sooner rather than later. Could be before anybody expects it. It could be. And why wouldn't it? The market dynamics play. I said this a lot. I said it in the first 3 live streams I did. It was the big focus was to point out that a lot of people got into it because it was a value play back then. You know, a lot of people back in November 2020 were not looking about a short squeeze, right? That wasn't it. And so fundamentals of the business were important back then. But after that squeeze in 2021, we looked at it and we thought, this is a technical play. The entry will be a bounce, a bing bong bounce at 35. You need to be careful for that, and if you do, it's a good place to manage your position and add to it if it is that your entry is above there. And when it got there, it bounced. People who were very disturbed in their head from the experience they'd just been through and the shock that they had new market participants had found entering GameStop when it then later crunched down. They were reassured by that bounce at that area. And when I look back on all of the work I've done, I'll know, as I do now, that the biggest impact I had, it was then, you know, on people's lives. Like, you had a bigger impact then than the money would have now, helping them understand that it wasn't that bad and it would get better, and that the thing that they were experiencing, that pain at the loss of the funds, they could recover from that, and that was the biggest difference I made. Boom. Jamie, since you're talking about it, that was the Dan Ernest, the total legend. How do you think realistically it can go? 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 600,000 like Berkshire, or 519 like you're saying? Ultimately, how high do I think it can go? This is the conversation, you know, we've had that exact question, Dan, and you'll have been here to see it. 34 months. Total legend, you know. Right at the start, Dan was supporting me. Total legend. Those videos I just talked about, Dan was there. Jimmy, since you're talking about it, how high do you think it realistically can go? So I answered this question nearly 4 years ago now, 3.5 years ago. Yo, Jumpin' Jarwa, great to see you as always. Was that same question? How high? It might even have, was it yourself, Dan, who said how high, and that word realistically can it go? Now, the reason you ask realistically there is not because you want to know about the potential. What you mean to say is that things are rarely as beautiful and perfect as we hope for. And even though it's a market dynamics play, and theoretically it could go infinitely high, where do I genuinely believe that a good target would be before I start thinking about how it's the nature of it is that it could go anywhere, that it could do anything. So I think it's not unrealistic, and it's not unfair, and it's not completely bonkers, and it's not crazy to talk about GameStop achieving $100 and $140. I think that's good, right? Between 100 to 120 to 140, I think is highly likely. Yo, Max Masterson, thanks so much. I think you are such an inspiration. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Max Masterson. Hi, Max. Yeah, so realistically, what you're asking me is genuinely, where do I think it's going soon? Over $100, genuinely, yeah. You know, for the reasons that I drew on the chart, that's what I think. That people will argue with you about figures higher than that, right? They'll say, yeah, but it can't go to 500 plus because the market cap would be X, and that would mean blah. All that needs to happen is one share is sold at $500, and then the price is $500. I'm not saying that everybody who's sitting with the shares at $500 is going to then cash it in, sell it at market, and get given that money, or that would be possible, or that every share could trade for that amount, and that the total market cap would be represented in a transfer of value from the shorts to the longs of that amount. at that moment altogether. I'm not saying that would happen, or that there is or isn't the money to facilitate that. I'm saying that the prices that are at now, they were at this morning, they were at all of the last 3.5 years, and for the next 50,000 years of any asset in the world ever, will be determined by the supply and the demand of that asset in that moment. And that's not the totality of shares cashing in, nor is it a comparison to all available money in the world. And when I first answered this question on my own Discord, somebody came along and started trying to say how stupid I was, because my targets back then, not even the like slightly humorous expression of 69,690 and 69, which has like been a sort of meme goal with this for a long time. Shout out Lisbon, LPSN, make your challengers ready. That it's not just that somebody came along and they said, look, that would make the market cap X, right? This is the total money in the world, Y. So it's impossible. And I said, cool, this is the total value of all derivative contracts in the world. Boom. It's exponentially higher than all the money available in the world. All the money that's ever been printed and ever will be printed, possibly, doesn't add up to the value of the total derivatives market. And it could conceivably fall apart in a cascading fashion. It could, the maths is there. But GameStop doesn't actually have to trade every single share at that price, whatever it might be, right? $1 billion. It doesn't have to do that for that to be the market. It's a stupid conversation. It's like at this point you're having a conversation with somebody who's just stupid, you know. And what they don't realize, and because they can never realize, is that at some point their thoughts and their development has been arrested by a bias that makes it so that they're not necessarily believe the wrong thing, but those ideas that are counter to their beliefs do not get as thoroughly or rigorously investigated as those which go with their beliefs. And it's this nature of bias means that there's this filtering problem, and that those arguments that go against your idea and against your bias, we have a much poorer ability to filter out those arguments for effective conversation, for effective reasoning. And so our bias doesn't make us believe the wrong thing, but when the right information or a point of enlightenment arises, we dismiss it when we should be taking it on board. And there's a lot of people who are against GameStop who've got like a cognitive against, right? Like they cannot understand, or they will not believe, or, you know, and a lot of people will be experiencing saying that these people will say things to you like, you have a problem, or GameStop is an addiction, or it's irrational. Now, they may or may not be true. All those things may or may not be true, but they're used as a way to judge you. They're a reflection of your relationship and the dynamics that people who see this and what we're doing. Now, if you feel this is directly about you, I've experienced this constantly in life, constantly, about loads of things, and GameStop's another one, so I recognize it as being true. People judge you, right? They judge you. Right? You go out with a supermodel, people will say, what, you're lucky. And you're like, no mate, I'm not lucky. I'll be going out for another supermodel next, right? That's not the way it works. You have got a prejudice that you don't understand. Or, there's no way you're a trader, you've got like a hole in your shoes. Right mate, well the more you trade, the more money you make, right? The less time you're going to spend shopping for shoes. I know that's the truth, right? These are things, but, and they're trivializing it there and making a joke, but, you know, maybe even a little bit egotistical joke there. The point I'm making is that they're judging you, and the dynamic of your relationship is what determines that judgment. Nothing to do with GameStop, and it certainly isn't to do with the maths with how high the price can go. But they'll tell you it is. They'll tell you that the reason that it can't go to $1,000, right? And this is the first part of everyone's sentence. Now you can insert like the actual words they say next, but it's analogous with, because you are a fucking idiot, because I am smarter than you, because you didn't do that thing I told you that time, and look what happened, and so do what I tell you to do. And all of these other expressions of frustration that are born from the fact that they are alive now, and in future they will be dead, and they don't know how to deal with that problem, and nor has any other human being ever that was ever born ever learned quite how to deal with that problem yet that I experienced or I've known. Nobody's really able to come to terms with that, the human condition in that way, and it saddens people, it frustrates them, and it causes them to communicate poorly, especially with people close to them and people they care about. And it's those people that we fall out with, those people we care about, right? Because if you don't care about someone, you're going to not listen to them and not be bothered about what happens to them. But when it is someone you care about, those are the people we fall out with. And that's the tragedy of it, isn't it? That the people we care about most are the people that we have these difficult moments with and make their lives difficult, and they make ours difficult. And that's the tragedy of these things. So if we could all just get out of it, get out of our own heads, would be a lot better. Holy fuck, it's at 47. There's no one telling me. What the fuck? You think I'd know? I was talking. I can't possibly know. You guys need to help me out more. I'm doing the show, for God's sake. You guys are going to have to tell me the prices. Bloody hell, guys, come on. You let the ball go there a little bit. It's up 48% today. So, yeah, good time to point out, Camus' absurdism helps. Yo, boogie. Lisbon is Spooder Gaines, but GME is a cultural phenomenon. Lisbon will be a cultural phenomenon shortly. Lisbon, why am I... This compare and contrast thing doesn't work because Lisbon's going to blow the roof off next, And Spooder Games, that's what you mean. Spooderman Games is insanely ridiculous gains. GameStop's what he's saying there, I'm not a cat, is saying there, is that GameStop's, while it makes us lots of money, and that monologue near the top of the show. Oh, sorry, Jamie. Don't be sorry. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. That's okay. You're forgiven. What I'm not cats there saying is similar to what I was saying at the start of the show. It's not, GameStop's not just about profit, nor does that mean to say it's some sort of a political statement. He says there, it's a cultural phenomenon, right? It's a changing of the guard. The death grip. It's a relaxing. It's we slowly have used GameStop to take that one of those fingers or the death grip that's on the markets, and what we're doing with GameStop is we're just taking one of those away. Just take one of those away, and then GameStop goes up again, and we take another one of those fingers that have atrophied and petrified around this fucking market. Pull it away, and then GameStop goes up to $48, and you've pulled another one of those fingers away. And as you get the death grip loosens, the screams ring out in newspapers and TV articles, and they cry on TV. They cry on TV. The billionaires cry on TV. And then you pull another one back as it goes up to 65. And at this point, they get their mates out. They get all their mates out to turn off the systems that allow you to buy things. They turn them off. Everyone they can. They don't care how obvious it is. They do it right in daylight, in danger of getting caught, because this is the last chance they've got. It doesn't matter if you see they're evil. It doesn't matter if you perceive how unfair it is. It doesn't matter what you threaten to do back. They have to fuck you. There's their only chance. And then you take that, when you see that final truth, when you see them crumbling in front of you as prices rise, then you pull the last little finger back, you fucking snap it off, and then you fucking walk forward with all you earned behind you and everyone that helped you beside you into that freer, more equitable world where you make the difference, where you create the community you want, where you improve the world around you, and where instead of everybody living on a dead man's ticket, people spend money, make a difference, the velocity of change comes back to the world, and it feels like those times where they were inventing washing machines and microwaves and fucking supersonic travel and fucking package holidays, and people who lived in the squalor were being lifted up, and where taxes didn't need to be 1,000 fucking trillion% because the throughput was so faster in our economies that VAT actually made a difference. So that the tax base went up even though the percentages go down, and it didn't take a political ideology to do it. It took you, brothers and sisters in GameStop, actually making a fucking difference. Not the fuckers who've been paid to do it. They take you up in front of Congress and tell you you're a criminal. Then later admit that you're not doing anything illegal, but they still don't like it and they're not going to allow it. You get that fucking death grip off the fucking markets. And that's why it's so annoying, because Roaring Kitty's just one guy, and those people really feel that way. And they'll do anything they can to take him down. That's why it's so very, very frustrating. That's why it makes it so very, very angry. And it's why prices are going to keep going up, and they're going to keep doing it over and over. And people are going to realize, you'll notice yourself that no one was selling GameStop. And this is one of the problems now. This is one of the problems that makes me so hurt. And when you hear it, it'll make you fucking hurt. Is that no one was selling. The only people who did only did it at the very, very low because life was being destroyed. Their life was being destroyed by the people who run the world. Literally destroyed, and they had no other option. They did the thing they least wanted to do, that they'd fought against for years and years and years, and they had to leave at the lows. Not their own fault. And they get fucked again. And they're in this chat box. They're in all of these communities. They got fucked again. And fucking hell, we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take it anymore. We know what you did, and we're not going to take it anymore. $46 and rising. There's probably little bits of divergence here, but as you'll notice, right, at each occasion that price puts in this divergent high, the divergent high being defined by, this sort of thing, right? Here's a high, here's a high. Sorry, I'm on a touchpad. Right, there's one high and another high on the momentum indicator, okay? And here's price action putting in a higher high, right? I could just use my left hand and stop being weird. So this is high, and as you can see, it's going up, so we'll mark it as green. Here's the momentum, that's the power behind price pushing up there. And it's slackened, right? So you've got a divergence there. Yo, got 5 memberships from Flasher. Total legend, you Flasher. Appreciate you so very much. Cannot say it enough. Thank Flasher for your new memberships, you lucky people, right? So this is bearish divergence, right? There's less power pushing price up. So the fact that price is higher tempts people into short the thing. And then the price goes down. It also causes people to stop buying at that moment because they're able to perceive the chance of getting it slightly cheaper shortly. And then prices come down, right? Now this low, look at this is the low here. Here's a low here, and here's a low here, right? Now that's a higher low, so I'll mark it in as green. And here's this lower low, which I'll mark in as red. So these are the people shorting it down here, and these people pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. Pushing price down here. This is price being pushed down, right? This is price being pushed down to that low. It's being pushed down from this sign of a lack of strength. And that strength on the short side is all of this effort, all the way down, right? And that down effort there is more and went lower than this effort here, right? It went lower. More and more effort to push price down was being put in from this top to this low. More effort. The shorts expended more effort, right? And you can swap effort for money. It's not 100% accurate, but it's likely true. More effort, more money, more energy, trying harder to push price down than they did back here. And price, it didn't go as low. It didn't go as low. So they're now putting in more strength and getting not as far, not as much of an impact, which is again divergence and speaks to the strength in that uptrend. And that uptrend then continues and continues and continues. And you can see multiple examples of that where the low isn't lower on price, but it is on momentum. So here was a low, here is these lows, right? Price coming in, testing that area, but the strength behind that is absurdly strong, right? So much strength trying to push it down, and it doesn't go down, which is a signal that it's a good opportunity to buy it. And so everybody does over and over, and the price goes up, and they keep doing it, and they keep buying it, or they keep exercising, or they keep getting more options, or they keep adding to their overall position, or managing it in some other way so that overall it has more impact and they're making more money. And wow, do the short side of their trade ever hate that. They cannot fucking stand it. It keeps them getting greater and greater size positions, which in turn leads to greater and greater risk, so that when they have to close, they push prices up even higher. And then when that happens, you can imagine if you're short and somebody else next to you is short, and they keep going short at every one of these opportunities, only to later be wrong, holding a bigger and bigger short position. Eventually they have to close that. The only way they can close it is by buying, and I'm not saying this is a big significant chunk of the short interest. I'm saying it's the dude's there, the other stupid dude who's shorting it, just this one dude. He has to buy to close those shares out. He has to. And when he does, he pushes the price right up to the guy next to him's limit, and he has to then close. And then he pushes it right up to the next guy, and he has to close. And that's why, Dan, when you ask what's the realistic target can get to, it can get to $150 or easily $100. And if it gets to 100, it's going to 110. If it gets to 110, it'll definitely go to 114. Nearly definitely go to 114. Above that. So I can look at the strength. They're trying so hard to push it down, right? And what happens? It doesn't go down. It just meets a trend line. You know, we can draw it on ourselves. Here it is, right? It's easy. It starts there, it goes through that one, and it meets price here. Again. And then the longs, they open again, they buy it again. In the last 20 minutes of Power Hour on the Thursday, ahead of the Friday Roaring Kitty live stream, ahead of the Saturday birthday party, the shorts again fucking fuck themselves by trying so hard to push it down. And it doesn't get lower than previous lows, but they try even harder, which is a reflection of how desperate they are for that to happen. And so it doesn't even take longs buying the stock to push it to those levels. And so, realistically, Dan, you could easily see GameStop at $100 a share. I expect to see it at 110 and then 114, probably to 120. If it breaks that, it'll go to 140. If it gets above 150, you're looking at 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500. And that's the increments people will be thinking in. That's the levels people will be targeting. And people will tell you it's not realistic, don't seem to understand that when Volkswagen squeezed, it became the most valuable company in the world. Does that mean that they make the best cars in the world? No. Would GameStop have to sell lots of video games? No. Nobody would give a flying fuck if it was a car company, if they were a video game retailer, if they were anything in any industry in any country in the world. Nobody cares. It's a vehicle for change. It's also clearly now an investment company itself with its ability to trade bonds, equities, and all types of securities, and that money will be invested alongside a billionaire entrepreneur in Ryan Cohen, who's already taken companies and launched them to be hugely successful across America. So does it like, oh my God, is it realistic? Will it happen? It's not your words. It's somebody else who's given you the impression that your hopes and your dreams themselves are irrational. And maybe that's why we have dreams at night when we're sleeping. Because if we were to be thinking them in this conscious reality, it wouldn't help our productive day to day. And it takes us to be asleep and to have those dreams for us to realize that they're possible at all, even in our imagination. And so when you hear someone tell you it's not going to happen in real life during the day, you hear that and you feel that and you suspect that maybe they're right. But then when you meet your friends on these chat boxes and you look at the relationship between market cap, price behavior, and what actually needs to happen, some of those anxieties fall away and you see a path forward. And you speak and feel and act with more conviction, and especially so if you have a trading strategy that includes a plan, which a big part of is the genesis in risk management. Then you'll always be confident that you're making the right decision at the right time. And it's not a plug or a sales pitch. It's the course that I've run. People who've taken it say it's the best thing they've ever done to help to learn a trade, and loads of them are in the chat box now, and I'll tell you. So if you're ever wondering, how do I get better at being a trader? Well, you can watch Rocky Outcrop, you can watch me, you can join the free Discord, you can watch all these free videos, but you will accelerate your growth significantly if you have done that course. And you'll also have lifelong coaching from me and the people who are also making loads of work, loads of progress there. So again, you're looking at a touch of divergence here. Price action, 17 minutes left on the day. Divergent high here. Clearly a bullishly divergent low on price action at the low. You've got your inverted head and shoulders on the teeny tiny time frames. It's expressed a measured rule from that. It's an 886 retracement from the high, and this is where you would see a V-shaped recovery potentially fail there at the 886, starting to make its way back above that area soon. If it touches this trend line in advance, then it would be in a tightening formation with lower highs, higher and higher lows, and so it comes in for this tightening, this winding up of price action, which doesn't really look like as expressed by price being put down and that creating this compression and explosion. That's not how winding up of price works. Winding up of price is when the lower highs meet the higher lows and a decision point is made. At that point, traders will have to decide, and it'll either be bulls or bears that win. Price tends to go in the direction that it entered any formation, unless that formation itself is a reversal formation, in which case you'll be looking for other cues, and like I say, take the course. Gamestop, $45.38. RSI back above the center line. Price action meeting this trend line. Here comes the test. Are the bulls still in charge? There's 16 minutes left today. They've been absolutely killing it earlier. Gamestop, the most famous short squeeze stock in the world at this stage, trading up 44%, 45% on the day. It's unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You, as an individual trader, have become the fucking market. You have become the market. Gamestop. 45, 73. And it's not stopping. What are those news? The news. RAF 199. I am done for buying through the Chase Invest account. No, not at all. 2 stocks, new account, 52% green. Thanks. Ha ha ha! 2 stocks, new account, 52% green. She's doing well. She's doing well, so she is. She is a legend. Go on, Flasher. Love to see it. Absolutely brilliant. What do you think about possible cup handle on the 1 hour timescale? I think that it's better if we see it on the weekly time frame. I think that it's a continuation formation, so it's great if we see it after an all-time high. I think that it's best if you see it for the trough of the cup persists for 7 weeks, and the guy who invented that form of technical analysis would tell you if you did it any other way you were doing it wrong. It's because of the nature of self-fulfilling prophecies that anything smaller or not conforming to those exact rules I outlined works out anyway. And if you're looking for it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, then typically you'll need confluent factors. You'll need it to be in line with the trend, and I can agree with you on that front. If there is a cup with handle on the 1 hour time frame, then maybe that's good. If you're talking about a cup with handle on the 1 hour time frame as being what are you talking about? I mean, let's go to the weekly and look for a cup with handle. Here's a swan dragon. This is a swan dragon, right? I'll show you how the swan dragon works. You have, first thing you have is these, right? These are like little swan feet, right? You've got these little swan feet. And they go up to the little swan ankles, and then you've got this swan body. You've got the swan body. Most of the swan body you would notice at a distance from its undercarriage, right? And the older the swan, the more it sags. And then you'll often see that it's got these wings, these huge wings on the back, and they'll be defined with these cutting highs into what was a previous high. And overall, that body of the swan will contain most of those moves. And typically, you'll also get like a little tail on the back of the swan, which looks something like this. And all of that evolves to give this swan like this huge head, right? And this comes off the back of a big fat neck because it's a swan. And then that head is very aggressive, like the seagull you've seen on price action. And it's got this beak. You might say to yourself, is that really a swan? Or is it just a duck with a hat on, right? And we will learn later if it is a duck with a hat on. May well be that that's the case. So I think about the cup with handle, I think what I first said about William O'Neill's take on a cup with handle, him who invented the thing. And secondly, I think Swan Dragon, and I can't stop thinking Swan Dragon because it chases me in my dreams to extreme levels of profit. So price action is back above that level. If it is that you were looking at this as a pennant, you're wrong. It's not a pennant either. And price action is just catching that trend to the top side now, covering, testing those important horizontal levels, and coming in for close around 46 is, well, hard to argue with, isn't it? It's very much hard to argue with. 40 there. Where was it that we were looking at these important areas? 236 on this guy, golden pocket on this guy, and 786 at 48.86. It could push there towards the last few minutes even. But this is good. 46 for the close. This is insanely good. 46 spot 28, 46 spot 20. 12 minutes. There's 12 minutes, spotter, you lunatic. There's 12 minutes. So there's 2 minutes left, and I was like, hey, I'll make the clip for everybody that's not going to be tuning into a multiple hour long show and will maybe miss out on the valuable information. And then they wouldn't be able to take advantage of it and do really well and improve their account, and then I'd feel terrible. Any's up 10% today. That's pretty good, trading at 132. Fuck yes. Thank fuck at last that's doing something. Surge. It's back above $4. It's up 11% today. That's fantastic. And Lisbon up 4.45%, testing that resistance level as we expected it would do. And GameStop 45, 46. I'm not going to keep reading it out because it changes and it goes up percentage points in less than it takes to say one. But it's at 46.2. 46 spots. It's at 40. It's at 40. It's at 46, but it's at 40. Prices are. GameStop's done really well today. What did I just miss? Minner, $100. Minner, $100. Minner, did you see the post that I made on Discord about you calling the interesting trade on Dr. Pepper? It's now overtaken Pepsi as the second most popular cola in America. Pepsi, right, which people would do a taste test with Coke, right, and they'd say, Pepsi tasty. Pepsi taste challenge, it always wins, right? Always wins. It gets fucking ass kicked against Iron Brew, but because, like, it looks the same as Coke, they use Pepsi. But so it won, right? It wins the taste challenge. See, if you put Dr. Pepper in there, people would spit it out. A lot of people would spit it out. It's not the most popular flavor. In terms of selling the drink, though, it is. It's the second most popular one. So, people asking about please don't shout $100 again. I thought it's bite and died. Died in Minecraft. Sorry, pardon me. It was a donation from Minner. I was very surprised, and I appreciate it desperately. Thank you so much, Minner. You're a total legend. I don't want to be cynical or offensive or annoying anyone, but like that's where I go go back into GameStop again, like the rest of you, with more and more. Iron Brew for the win. Yo, Mac beat Doug. You damn fucking tootin'. The win as well. Big bar on Lisbon. Big bar on the old Lisbon. You're right, it's a big move to get started. Get things started. Yo, Jay Hunter, how you doing? Scudburger, Trace Button, FFFE, could you take a quick look at TA on FFFE? I could probably try doing that after close, sir, unless it's something you desperately want to take advantage of now or have a look at. FFFE. Oops, that's too many. FFE. Look, it's got like multiple price lines. It's got like multiple prices. This seems to half overlap. So does this. It's like and 4 hour, and it's a huge move. Wouldn't trust it. It's doing its own little version of a Swan Dragon. This retracement so far has taken it below a 382, so it's broken what would be ideally the best would be holding a 236. It's still very bullish if it holds a 382, and it's broken that. So you're looking at now potentially testing a 50% all golden pocket. And if you were to be looking at where it found support previously in this trend, you would be saying the golden pocket looks to be the strong area of it. Resistance, maybe, but it's already in that area. We've got a little pennant there. If it is to break up, you'd be looking at it testing back towards 147 or so. Right, GameStop. 45.86, trading 45.86, 15-second time frame. I'll look at Fifi more later for you for sure, sir. What just happened? There's bling blings. Bling 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 blings. Got a new member. Vegas Fritz gifted a membership by XD. Look at that. 10 membership gifts from XD. Thank you so much, XD. Hey, welcome all you new members. I really, really appreciate everyone doing that. It's a great way to support the channel because it gets more people involved, you know? And like you feel part of the family and whatnot. I think. I really appreciate it. When I was on the PP show last night, I came off and like joined the show as a member. Top level, obviously. And then got 10 membership gifts from people in chat box. It's like, yay, you know, and that. And if there's, because, like, you know, I could give him money, whatever, but he wouldn't want it, right? That's like not the way you do it. It's that you do it via helping other people in little ways. Then you feel really good, like you've helped 10 people out, which as well as doing the thing for the dude you're helping. So it's like a really good way of doing it, I think. You know, it's a really good way of doing it. Better than like hitting the YouTube super chat button. Maybe, maybe not. You know, better overall is like not using YouTube at all. They take 30% of the funds because they're like absurd, and they're like, you know, like how can they possibly justify it? When really they hate the fact that GameStop's going to frickin' explode. They do. They don't like it. None of these established institutions like this huge change it's going to bring. You could start your own fucking YouTube. Your voice is so low compared to the membership lols. How do I change that? I don't know how to change. Whoa, mate. I don't know how to change that thing. It's not like it's on the audio mixer. That thing isn't one. So I don't know how to change it. Alert box. That's the alert box. Is there a way of editing it? I don't see it. I don't think there is. I don't think there is a way of doing it. Maybe there's some. Maybe it's a thing. I don't know how to do it. I could talk louder, and then everything would be louder. There's 5 minutes left on price action. GameStop's at 46.78. It's up 48% today. This is the nature. You think you could do a clip 20 minutes before close. Inform people like the percentage moved today, more or less, and like. But you can't. It's for another, it was 44, 45%. Now it's 48, 47, 48. It's constantly moving percentage points, not just cents or dollars. Percentage points, over and over. Imagine you get $30, eh? The high today is 47.46, and you're cents away from the high today. You're cents away, despite you had this huge pullback. And we're coming up for 5 minutes left, and you've got an inverted head and shoulders. Typically, we come at the bottom side of a trend, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't still represent the liquidity that would be smacking through. If this thing breaks back above 48, it could take another massive fucking move in seconds. And then what's going to happen post-market? And then tomorrow Rowan Kitty's live stream. And then the day after it's his birthday. And then we go again after everyone's had a really good... GameStop broke 50%! It's up 50%! Holy fuck, man! Fucking there it is again! Up 50%! Having touched that fucking level, I mean, you can't expect it to break it there. I've been put in a level of resistance to come back and just break it on the first pass. That if that breaks and there's a couple of 4 minutes left, I mean, it could happen. The people don't want that to happen. I'm gonna, you know, people don't want that to happen. It might happen. Look, GameStop main coin rallies 50%. Amid Roaring Kitty video countdown and market manipulation debate. Oh, fuck off already. It's not a debate. You know that they're manipulating the market. But that article probably talks about him. It probably does. But like, fuck off with your bullshit articles. We know there's market manipulation, and we know it's not us. We know it's not us. Like I was saying the other day, people might accuse me, but I don't know what you guys are doing with your money. There is no coordination. Like it doesn't. The idea that there would be, it speaks to like as if we're all magicians. Like, we aren't magicians, though it does seem like we do have the power of real magic. We really do magic. Actually, that's a really good point, that. Stay tuned for tomorrow's meme story updates on Lisbon. insanely good videos coming tomorrow. If you're a member of the Discord, you'll have already seen 1 or 2 of them. Oh my god, they're so good. They're so good. Right. Hey. There it is, testing 47 and change. Coming back now, test support. The support level at this part is in and around here, right? You've got to, I'll just drop it on and then explain it why. Got a couple of minutes left where it might look to find support there. You've got this trend line, which doesn't quite meet it. But let's take it closer so it's actually touching the lows and catching this impulse move up again here. That's that candle. It's all wicks anyway apart from that, so that's more accurate. This horizontal meets this diagonal and you'd likely find support in and around these areas. Subsequent to getting there, you've got bullish divergence on the low. This is a buy signal here. If it manages to get back above the center line, which it just has done, go on. We'll see how that closes. You've only got 2 minutes left. It's a 15-second time frame, so there's still potential for it to happen. Boom, boom, boom. It's got some subscribers. Yo, welcome to Fiend. No doubt, no doubt. My consistent losses the past year are a testament to the individuality of investors in this community. Yo, Space Ghost Derps. Well put. Good point. Well made, sir. You know, it's just a shame that they want you to, like, go out here and say that to prove them wrong. Like, that's what they want you to say. They're like, look, I'm an idiot, alright, I did it. Come on. What do you think we're doing, you know? You invented the markets. You've got all the liquidity. You sit there fucking people off all day. Not yourself, supposed to, Gerbs. The people who accuse us of market manipulation. Sit there manipulating the market all day with all the means and all the money. All time. And then they're like, you're doing it! And you're like, who do you think we are? Like, do you think we're Superman, Captain America, fucking Iron Man? They literally believe in the storybooks and think Iron Kitty is Iron Kitty. That's what he is now. They think he's Iron Kitty. They don't think he's Roaring Kitty. They're sure he's Iron Kitty. And he's got an AI inside a power suit with an infinite ball of energy buying their short positions. That's what they think. They're shit in a blick. Like, this is what they're up to. 3 green candles. Mr. Pricey price. Price has closed at $46 on GameStop. Post market is at $46.66. Time for a clip. GameStop's going absolutely mental. Nino, tell your fucking neighbors, tell your family, tell your friends. You were right. You've never been so right. GameStop is absolutely flying. It's up 47%. It's about 61 today. It's up at 46.60 at close. They're still, you know, T1 now. They're still actually adjusting to the fact that markets have closed and you need a price. They themselves don't know what it is, but I can tell you it's above $46. GameStop is flying right now. It's at the price we thought it would close today when we were on the PP show last night. Shout out to those good people and how welcoming they are to me and my community. We are really going to do things together, but all on our own. In millions of rooms across the world, we have taken GameStop to new fucking levels. It's going to keep going. Tomorrow, Roaring Kitty streaming live. After that, it's his birthday. Then it's a weekend where you can celebrate in your glorious success. Ahead again, back to work next week. GameStop's on the menu again. Let's go! Right, that's your clip. The technical analysis you get when you tune into the live shows. Alright. Fuck the bastards, man. Fuck those bastards! Fuck those bastards! Pardon me. Lipson's back above 7. Not bad. That's not bad. That's 7.26% on Lipson. Holy shit, it did go for a big chunk up there too in the last few seconds. Fucking hell, mate. Any up 12.5%, which is pretty good. Any up 12.5%. That's more than AMC's up. And AMC's been dragged up on crazy meme stock waves of like the... what was it that the guy, Tyrone, the guys, was on Joe Rogan and he discovered a new science or some shit. I can't remember what it is. Like, and I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of slagging people off just because they're a little bit different. But he discovered like wave conjugation. Right, well, it's maybe that's moving AMC a little bit, the old wave conjugation. But NE's moving for more than it. Surge back up above $4. GameStop low. Fucking hell, man. 47.6% in a day. That's like unusual for anything ever, right? Obviously, that's unusual. But to come off the back of the day where it was like, what was it up yesterday? Like 22% yesterday. It was already up 80% year to date. Considering SPY was only up 12%, GameStop's up 80%. Yet people are telling, like, I mean, it's kind of hard to articulate how wrong everybody else was. It's kind of hard to. It's hard to put it into words. Not because the words are hard to find. Trust me. Though we do live in a world in a crisis of confidence where everyone's low on trust. Trust me, the words are easy to find. It's that in saying them, it's a cruel puncture to the identity of everyone who said it wasn't going to happen. Because not only has it happened, it makes them look stupid, and we're doing it all to make the world a better place. Because we, aligning ourselves with good people and then making money, are trying to make the communities better. You'll see people slag us off, right? Now, I've been featured on GME Meltdown up top of that more often than I've been on the top of Super Stonk. And people say, like, he's such a dick. He wants to destroy the world. You know, he wants to... Imagine how much pain and suffering it'll cause when everything else collapses. And that's what he wants. And it's like, I don't want that. You know, I want everything to rise together. You know, the fact that GameStop can't rise when other things are, even though everybody be buying it and is looking to do so and is aligning themselves with good people who've also got a schedule that pushes for the same thing, means that there's nefarious actors in the market. Everybody can see that. That's why we keep coming back to it and didn't go on to try it and some of this and do the next and whatever yada. We always will be coming back to it because that's where we fight the enemies, right? That wasn't our decision that they wouldn't get off the battlefield, obviously. So, you know, it makes them look wrong, and it makes them look like they were wrong for the wrong reasons. Like they were cynical, they were tired, they were probably too old. They had been through a lot of hard shit before, and then they decided that like it just wasn't going to happen, and that was that. You had to be more realistic and stop trying to dream about, being better than your station, and just forget about it and leave that idea, because you'll only ever be what you were born to be, which is not as good as me because I'm your parent, or I'm your neighbor, or I'm your fucking landlord, or I'm your boss, or I'm your something else, where they've got this weird hierarchy that means that their investment decisions and their take on the stock market is better and more important than yours, even though you've been trading for years and years and you've got deep investigations into the nature of the markets and the company you're buying. But they somehow think just because they've got 2 years on you, or their hedge is nicer, or their shoes are shinier, or they've got some brass buttons on their jacket, that they wear neck attire, or whatever the fuck it is, that they can tell you your investments are wrong. Well, they're not fucking wrong. They're fucking wrong. And now they look fucking stupid. And it's not just that, but it's dead embarrassing. And, you know, the people like Latif who are telling you to sell and cash out and that, who then leave you bereft because they don't give you secure buying areas afterwards. They don't help you manage your risks. They just take people out of the movement, out of the game. They've been sent here to fuck you up, and they've been sent here to fuck up other influencers who are making a good difference. And if the GME community could cut those people down at the knees so that we could all stop going through these, you know... I think those people don't know that they've been caught in a trap that watch him. Anyway, guys, a fanny. 46.60 on the close. What a fucking day it's been. This is amazing. That's amazing, you know. 488 people viewing right now. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for everybody who supported the show and become a member. Dean, love you, Jamie. Appreciate all you taught me and that you care to help me. Dean Weimer. I'll always remember your name, Dean. Dean Weimer, and a lot of other people have heard me say it 3 times now. Dean Weimer. We'll always remember you, Dean. Cheers, and I'll always happy help you too. Trace one. Can your price be moved by Rowan Kitty's call contract counterparts trying to locate his shares? I don't know. Well, I mean, if they find them back of a couch and they already own them, or they're part of some other instrument they've got, or they've got them in some call contracts of their own that they've, like, you know, sure, they can maybe get it, right? But in every scenario where they have to acquire those shares from another participant, whether that be in a contract that's wrapped in a swap, which is not possible, right, because they're cash settled, so let's just put that argument to bed. Whether it be option contracts, which would be determined by somebody else, a counterparty to the trade, having to give them the shares, or it being them reaching out and getting them on the open market, that would be also. It would also be true that if they just don't bother and they leave it to turn into a failure to deliver, that will now show up sooner because the settlement period is reduced, and so the impact of them having to be forced to do a buy back in. Yo, Natural Friend, total legend. The impact of a... Thanks, mate. Natural Friend, you're a total hero too. Cheers, pal. You're welcome, pal. You know, so like pretty much, yes, guy, every time they have to acquire those shares from someone else, they'll have to pay for them. That person will want 46.60 now, and at minimum, right, if you were to write 46.29, if you're getting the post-market in this idea here. Why is the post going, like, who would possibly be shorting GameStop post-market here? Who's doing that? Who's so stupid they're doing that? Roaring Kitty's got a live stream tomorrow. Who's doing that? They're so stupid, it's insane. Oh god, I just can't even look at them. They're being so stupid, it's insane. Just why are they doing that? They've distracted me. They've really distracted me. I feel sorry for those idiots. Why would people do that? Like, you mean, is there anything less? I mean, it's so obviously a bad decision. What do you think people do? I'm going to head on, but thanks for your positivity and good vibes, guys. Enjoy your night out. Your night, not your night out. Look at me, I'm talking to the kids. Enjoy your night out, kids. You're not going out like that, are you, Andrew? Andrew, you're not going out like that. Get back here, young man. Been away, but not gone. Sammy yo! Sammy yo. 32 months. The introverted members, thank you for your generosity and all learning. Yo, Sammy yo, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. 32 months up in this glitch. 32 months up in this glitch. The Natural Friend. You see all these names, all these freaking icons in the chat. Epic part of the story. Can't think about what we've been through without seeing your names. Natural Friend. Tasty desserts. Give me some of them. Took profits today, but still fucking happy with that to protect against any gaps. Well managed manner. And you're all in control of your own destiny. You've all earned the right to behave as you want, and especially if you're an experienced and competent individual like Mint, add in your power to price at all important levels of support, then you've very much earned the right to some profits. Justin Pickerel, he's a member. It's a pleasure, friend. We're the trend line now. We're the trend line. We're the markets. We're the hedge funds. We're the bastards. We're the ones that are getting in lots of trouble for being very naughty boys and girls. Yo, thanks, Jason. Thanks for the subscribe. Love you guys. Love you too. We all love each other in a nice way that you don't get in other chat boxes. How much is RK up to now? Roaring Kitty, did he buy more? How many shares is he on if he exercises everything? Like 17 million or something? I don't know. You tell me. I'm exposed to a bit of risk right now, but it'll be okay. Exposed to a bit of risk. Well, I mean, there's not an infinite risk on you because, like, price can only go down to zero, and I imagine you're long, so there's no real infinite risk. The only infinite risk is selling contracts you don't have that short. That presents an infinite risk. You know, selling contracts short is, say, for example, selling a call when you don't have any shares, right? You sell that call because you don't think it's going up and you think you're going to benefit from the outsized returns of an option contract, and then instead price goes up and you're on the hook to deliver a share, and you've got not option contracts is in lots of 100 shares, so it's $460, it's $4,600. It could easily go to 40,000, 46,000. Like, I mean, it can go and go and go and go. Those prices shares can keep going, and then you're on the hook for an option contract, which is giving someone else the right but not the obligation to buy, and it's you could be so completely screwed because you've sold them the call, so they're effectively in the money, and so that option contract, it goes up exponentially in price over and over, depending on the expiry date. You know, it could be miles away. You could be in the money, earning money, watching it go up extremely high, way higher in percentage terms than the actual underlying stock, and someone on the other side of that trade, they have to fucking meet you and give you the they don't actually have to meet you, because that would be the most humiliating moment of their life, but we should do that, right? You know, you've got French settled, right? French settled contracts is you get in the stuff, right? You're getting the stuff. It doesn't matter if you think like, oh, but I want the money, mate. It's like, no, you're getting the stuff. And then you got the American settlement, and then you can get the money. And then you've got the Scottish settlement, where you have to come and give me my fucking shares, mate. You have to come and give me my shares, and I bring all my friends, and they get benches either side of us, and they watch as you walk up to me, give me my shares, and then they clap and cheer and laugh, and we all celebrate, and then somebody else stands up, and then they get their shares delivered to them, and over and over and over. That's the way it works. The Scottish settlement. Well, TraceBoy, not that much risk. Good to hear it, Moons. We literally own Lipson in here. Look how little the float is. It's our fucking bing bong party. I know. I can't comment. Literally can't comment anymore. It's getting to that point where I literally can't comment anymore about Lipson. There are amazing memes though, and I can express myself in the memes on Lipson. It's going to be hilariously good fun, guys. I think so. Don't hold me to it, Hold the shares. Buy the shares if you want. Not my option. It's your option. You guys have all got that option. 50 of them every week. It was 50 of you have got that option every week. It's not my option. I'm not telling you to buy the shares. I've got what I want to go into my plan, and I'll act on it. Every week I'll do my plan. And thousands of you guys are doing the same thing. 1,000 every week, 50 or more people buy options there, buying them, that's what it is. Maybe half of those people are exercising their options to pay for, stuff, and that, doing it every time floats disappeared, shares, maybe shit like that's happening. Maybe. I can't really comment on it. How many did Lucy? How many did she? Thanks, Twilla. How many did she? Lucy's had a bit of a reaction. The thing with Lucy was it was just a gap, a pre-market gap. Prices opened, went up in a pre-market gap here, and people were trading this. Rocky brought it up on Discord, and Real Men Go Live person was talking about it there. Opened up with a gap, and when things do that, you can go long, and you can put a stop in at the gap, and then your risk management's easy, and it's really easy way to trade, right? So if anyone tells you they're amazing because of the way they trade in Lucy, they're not amazing because of the way they trade in Lucy. It's very, very, very simple. It's like the least risky, simplest way of doing things. And maybe that does mean you're good at trading. But to then call it sophisticated would be a lie. It's simple. And that's what's good about it. But it isn't complicated or sophisticated or take a great deal of experience. So you open it up at pre-market with a gap, then you go long on it, and then it keeps going up, and that's it. And you just follow it with a stop loss. And the stop loss might be on a 236. You'd watch the candle close. At that one, it had to get back below 0.45. It didn't. You see, after this peaked, you had a doji. It held that above the stop out level, and it went up again. At which point you're looking at a break below 0.59. This candle came down, wick, held it above it, didn't break, still working out, up to here, and this peak left it coming down and putting in a gap below a 236, so it left a gap to the top side, and if that jumped beyond your stop, then perhaps you were caught in a trade. Golden pocket, it reversed, went back up, higher high. At this point you're looking at divergence with a failure swing, lower on the RSI. That failure swing's good reason to get out of the trade. Price action slipping back down again. So people who were trading that were very easily, in a very simple way, able to initially look at that trade and get 241%, if they were even really spectacularly good at managing it, 388, and ultimately a perfectly sensible, well risk managed strategy would have made you 500%, right? 500%, it's a lot. So is it going to keep happening? It looks like it might do. Maybe people will want like the technical analysis update. So they've got the passion update and the technical analysis update. Should I do that? I should probably try and do that. I could give like the 1 minute take. I could give this as the 15 minutes, and I could give that take probably quite well. And I could look at the 4 hour and put historical price action onto the page here. Okay, I'll make a quick clip and you guys will get an update on the TA too. This is the GameStop update for technical analysis. If you're looking for targets, if you want to know where price might go, here's where and why from TradeSpotting and GameStop. You had this downward sloping trend, you were well aware of it. It's left us with important horizontal resistance levels above. We've conquered a lot of them. These peaks are the targets to the top side. That most recent one to look to, and most proximate above, is at 62 bucks. Tomorrow, will we see GameStop push towards 62 bucks during Roaring Kitty's live stream ahead of his birthday? Maybe. Sploshing is on. Stranger things have happened. If it does retrace back down again, you know, back down again, you've got a $48, $46 target right where it is. So the chances are it doesn't strain too far away from there. But if it does, you know, the next horizontal level of support was already tested in the previous retest. It's just so very unlikely it goes there without extremely illegal activity, so we don't anticipate that. We're looking at moves to the top side. We're traders. The first rule of a trader is you look for continuation. Continuation in the trend. The trend is to the top side. We're looking for top side targets. You break 48, you're looking at 62. This is the 48, 64, 62, 64, 85. After you get above there, I'll push all the way up to the top previous high at 100, 108, 110 bucks, very possible. So these areas are marked out for you, the horizontal resistance levels. Here, 48 bucks. You break that, which you're very close to doing today. Next target up at around 65 bucks, 70 bucks. You break that, next target is 85 to 90 bucks. You break that, it's the all-time high at 100 to 110. Those are the horizontal resistance areas. We can also tell that there's important Fibonacci levels. These are a sequence that measures the strength of any retracement, and they give us confluence in that they come across them at the same level as we find these horizontal resistance in historical price, which gives us extra reason to think of them as significant. So this golden pocket, it's up at around 48. You break that, it means that the area on the Fibonacci sequence where you'd most commonly see a returned price coming back down from will have been beaten. And then you're looking very much at important historical support and resistance levels. So 48 really does mean the next test is 64, the subsequent test being up at 85 to 90, and the next one being 100 to 110. Really important. Other than that, we've also got the retracement against this current move. And on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that prices have come to a high at 63, 64, come back and tested that same golden pocket where prices turn around and then go on again. And we're speculating that that won't happen. It's an overhead resistance, but it has just happened as support underneath. So price found support at that exact area and continues on up. And we'll use extension targets from our measuring ruler here, 1.13, 1.414, and 1.618. We look for confluence with those other prices that we identified earlier from the historical resistance lines and support on the way down. Those are previous price action. We also look to the other Fibonacci sequence that we were just using. Thanks so much for the subscription there, or the donation, or the membership, whichever it was. And you'll be looking, join the live stream and get involved in this. It's a great community here and we'd love to have you. So you're also now looking for, you're also now looking for these extension targets on the Fibonacci. I know the volumes are discrepancy. I'll work on that, I promise. The extension targets here you're looking at are the $143 at the 1.618 and $110 at the 1.414. There's also a 1.13 where you might look to at around 76, but that isn't confluent enough with any of these targets that we're talking about as being important historical support and resistance levels, more important than the 786 or 886 resistance due to the Fibonacci, but we do see the 886 itself is confluent with another area of support and resistance historically in at around 90 bucks. So that's where you're looking, you know. You break above 48, you're looking to target 65 to 70 bucks to find that zone with the Fibonacci and historical price. You get above that, you're looking at 85 to 90. Again, historical price levels and the Fibonacci giving us that zone. You break above that, you're looking at the all-time high. You put that in confluence with the Fibonacci extension targets, and it's very realistic, as somebody asked me in the chat box today. Good lad. Dan Ernst, one of the first people to watch me on YouTube. He asked, is it realistic to look at these high targets? And it's realistic to look much higher than these. These are what we're looking for immediately, those most proximate prices that could be where we see price go to over the next few days, the next few weeks, and if it doesn't, then we will go again. So that's the 4 hour where we've seen most of that. If we go down here, you can see that this defending the gap, where retail came in and, you know, rescued the uptrend, that was just above this previous gap. The gap itself is a buffer zone that protects price from getting anywhere near Ryan Cohen's entry at $22 and that area where we saw the most recent dilution on Gamestop. Beyond that, still, we've got extra defenses then ahead of Roaring Kitty's entry at $21.86 or in around those levels. That's where his most recent screenshots show his price average at the moment. And so in this move to the top side that some people might describe as a cup with handle, that other people would look at as just a really strong retracement and a continuation of an uptrend, you've got these important levels. This tower defense game we're playing has got a real important piece here, which very unlikely that price gets back there anytime soon. It's moving to the top side, it's moving fast, there's a velocity in the volatility, and that, guys, that's you. Thanks so much for watching. I've got a passionate clip about the price action today. If you'd like to see that, I'll link it over there, and I appreciate all the watch time, the subscribers, the likes, and all of you. Thanks so much. There's the technicals. Lol, he's going to be a billionaire, lol. He's going to be a billionaire. He is going to be a billionaire. If GME hits 2,300 by next Friday, DFE's position would be worth more than Kenny G's net worth. Well, 2,300 is quite a lot, but you don't have to give him by next Friday. Let's give him, you know, 10 years, and he'll definitely be up around those levels. Jamie, poor kitty only made 250 million today. Yeah, man. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person, too. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Man, that's amazing. That's amazing, man. Thanks, Herrera. Thanks, Herrera. Fantastic clip. Tracepoint. Jen noticed Roaring Kitty's post in Reddit. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I mean, Reddit, they've got links. You're a mod. You can share it here and I'll click it. I'll click it. Go for it. You could have even done it during that clip. I would have got it up. We would be laughing about it. I can make another clip though. For sure. There it is. Jen did do it. Lisa told me about it. I'm a dumbass. Are you sure you want to leave YouTube? I want to go and see that link. Yes. What are they like? You sure you want to leave YouTube? Are you sure? Oh my god. Tracepoint, you don't want to leave YouTube, do you? Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Flasher. See? It's Charlie's Angels saving me. Here's this. Here it is. Total gain, 382,513,161,000. Holy shit. GameStop is flying. We've talked about the technicals. We've talked about how amazingly fun it'll be to see price move, and had a passionate rant. We've also had a calm, cool, collected take on the distrust that's in the markets and a new way of looking at Roaring Kitty's approach to correcting these inefficiencies, improving the trust in the system, and releasing this death grip that the old guard have on our markets. You're the markets now, and Roaring Kitty, he's quickly eating them. His daily gain today, $250 million, 400,000. Holy shit. And the total gain on his current position is 382,513,000. That's up 219% in total. His option contracts are up 375%, 376 if you're rounding it up, and his total share percentage gain is 118%. This guy is a really fantastic trader, and he's long. He's long, I'm long, a lot of people watching this show are long. Who is it that's short GameStop at this stage, knowing that you're up against somebody who's making $250,400,000 in one day? Who's trading against that guy? Nobody with a brain, I can tell you that much. Check out the other clips from today. We've got some fantastic content coming out. I'm surprised how good it is. Thanks so much for everybody who's watching. Hit the like button. I appreciate you. See you guys. Let's go again. Roaring Kitty's live show. He's doing one tomorrow. You know, I don't know if it's my job to be pointing this out, but maybe it is, and maybe people don't know about it, and you'll be catching this clip and you wouldn't have seen it somewhere else. Well, Roaring Kitty, he's live tomorrow. He's going to be on doing a show on GameStop. I'll obviously be live too. and competing for viewership with this guy. Honest blushing, getting drunk. Shout out to Kitty. Good work. See you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So that's 3 clips I've got on Gamestop. Thanks to you guys helping me come up with great content, sharing the links, making it possible. Lisa, Tennessee Texan, Flasher, Latoya with the brilliant comments earlier, pointing out then, those 4 pointing out then, how it's the women that bring such a positive aspect to the culture. If it was just guys, I don't know if we'd be at this high price. Fucking unbelievably brilliant work and awesome content from these people in the community. Thanks so much. Richard White, $1.99. Appreciate Richard. Cheers. Is he exercising his calls tomorrow live? Is he doing it during market hours? If so, that'll be interesting to see. Would be realistically the rug into tomorrow? Would it be realistically rug in tomorrow? All the contracts are in the money. Well, I mean, it's not like the question. This is a question like, would they realistically? Like, I understand what you're doing there, right? And in the kindest way, what you're doing is you're hedging your own communication style, so that I have to be the one that takes the risk having the conversation. But you can take the risk by not using that word realistically and instead using the word will he or is it. And it'd be so much easier then, and then I don't have to take the whole realistically part of it as a warning. Everybody, walk out, everybody. Now it's true, right? You're right. What you say there is actually quite true, and that's why you don't need the word realistically. Yeah, they would, mate. You know they fucking would. Frog Lord, you know so much that they would try and rug pull. Like, oh my god, right? Would it be realistic? Damn, god damn, yes, you sir, yes sir, free bags full, sir. It would be. They would probably do it, and they'd tell you it wasn't even them, that it was Roaring Kitty, and that he was exercising his options, and it meant that he was like selling shares subsequently to like get those auctions and to exercise and so on, and they'd tell you it was his fault. Then they'd drag him up in front of a group of old men who didn't understand the markets, just wanted a time to talk, would speak over each other, couldn't push record or play on their computer properly, would be behind a desk asking stupid ass questions that they think are going to appeal to their voter base as opposed to actually investigate any truth. They'd be doing his fucking tits in, giving him a hard time, asking him why he pushed prices down on Thursday evening, ahead of his live show on the Friday, ahead of his birthday on the Saturday. Picking at him like, yo, why did you do that? And of course that would be them pulling the rug. Of course it would have been. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, realistically they might do it. But in future, we need to take this realistically word and just set it aside for a while. GameStop's trading at 46.55 cents post-market. They just changed the closing price constantly. Have you noticed this? I'm noticing it here now, and since T1 it's happening fucking loads. How are you supposed to know what the actual closing price was on your 0-day options if at the end of the day you're not getting the closing price? What the flying fuck's going on? How are they supposed to be managing the markets now? Like, give me a closing price, and if you get it wrong, that's on you. Fuck yourselves and your shitty system. Stop putting it on us. I want to know what the price is when markets are supposed to be closed. I need to know that yous aren't fucking with me. I need to trust back in the markets. T1 is because you're supposed to do it properly at that moment, not so that you can say, it's so hard, Spotter. I'm so hard to start sorting all these files out, and I've got this and that, Spotter. I don't know. I didn't mean it, Spotter. I'll do better, Spotter. Not good enough, system. You need to price what it is when it closes. We've got the nibble price, national best bidder offer. We know it's no less than a specific amount. That should be the very least that the price is printed at close. You've got one system where all prices flow through, and that controls the nibble. And I know that it's real and it exists. And I want to see that price when markets close on my fucking screen. And anyone who tells you that that's not possible is talking out their arse. It's easy. And we demand it along with all the other transparency that should be brought to the fucking bear here. This is a disgrace. I shouldn't be getting this annoyed when markets are closed. For fuck's sake. Changes every day by like 0.5%. Exactly! This is a fucking huge percentage move you're talking about here. For loads of different stocks, this is not acceptable, and we know that it's a load of bullshit. You can hide a lot of your crap in that too. Stop fucking doing it. Like, we know what's going on. Stop fucking doing it. Pull the finger out. Wonder if he exercises live tomorrow. Yes, Godburger, is he going to? I want to see what happens there. I want to see. Was catching up on the phone with a friend of mine for the past hour. The first thing he said was, bro, what's up with GameStop? Sell some, man. He was joking, but I might have to find a new friend. Yes, this was great. See ya. What did I miss the past hour? I wasn't able to listen. Well, we saw prices finish up. Who knows what price they've actually closed at because they keep changing it. Tomorrow, DFE on a stream. I found a nice new undervalued stock trading at 70 cents. Man, there'll be absolutely fucking nothing left for me at that point. I hadn't got my position properly yet. Ahaha, all planet will learn about GME. All planet! All planet, listen up! Fudge the bastards. Is there a reason it'd be better to exercise tomorrow versus next week? Tomorrow's a day ahead of his birthday, so I mean, there's that reason. In terms of like mechanics and whatnot, he guy's accumulating, you know, and his strike price is the same, regardless of what day he exercises on. If he does it tomorrow, it means that everybody else tomorrow that's looking for a closing price on the weekly, which has an option contract with an important volume node, is more likely to also finish in the money, which means that it'll be easier for him to exercise tomorrow, despite the fact that there's less time left. Because when he does it, that exercising will push the price up more, which will mean that he gets more money for every tranche that he exercises, which means that he's able to buy more of those option contracts for less money, which leaves him with even more money to reinvest in bigger position size, which means that the race starts again. And so next week and the week after, and until such times as he decides to take his finger off the pedal, or where market makers recalibrate their behavior so that they're now trading for liquidity at much more acceptable levels for people to take profit. And so that, so there's a big advantage to him, to you, to everyone that's holding GameStop if he didn't exercise yet and he starts doing it tomorrow. And the fact that he's sharing his position is in order to tell the bastards to shut up and stop annoying him, to prove that he isn't trying to manipulate price. And also, I think, whether he intends for it or not, it can give you confidence about your actions and will bring peace to your decisions so that you don't worry as much when you're making these decisions. And you don't need to use that word realistically, because people are going to turn to you now and ask what is or isn't realistically. You're the ones that were correct. You are the one who defined a possible outcome that turned out to be true, and people told you that you weren't being realistic. So now, when somebody wants an authority on what is or isn't realistic, they'll come to you and they'll ask you. So you don't need that phrase in your work. You've got the answers. I'm not a cat. He always had that, and he also had a link to a disclaimer video. Probably a bit more cast iron now, but not new. Yeah, he's very well planned his work. I've spoke to lawyers myself about various things. They talk about you can exercise right enough, but not doing live purchases with your account on screen so that people can compare and contrast and actually act in tandem, in coordination with you. And I spoke to lawyers, security lawyers, who told me that specifically. I got secondary advice who told me it again over 3 years ago, and that's true about my jurisdiction. And my jurisdiction's much laxer rules than America, where he is. So I don't know if he could sit there and click buy on a brokerage account live on screen, but he can exercise his calls because that's somebody else that's then, and he's got the right and obligation to do that. He made that decision a long time ago. The actual exercising of the options, well, ostensibly that's why he would have bought them in the first place. And so when he does it, it's got fuck all to do with anybody else. So yeah, he's allowed to, and he can keep going doing that. That question and that answer, that's the way it is. So yeah, does it help? Yes, it makes it a whole lot easier. It makes it a whole lot better and a whole lot more fun. Yes, go on, fucking Roaring Kitty, man. Go on, man. I'm gonna fucking finish this stream and go outside and scream yes and jump around. Trace one, he will have to exercise before the war. US, NATO has already decided to start in order to take away the US debt problem in a snap. Can the Americans get away with that, Jamie? Man, America can get away with whatever it wants. Like, it's very difficult to stop them, and where possible, I want to align myself with America's intentions to help them do everything that it and they want to do. Apart from war, I hate war. Goddamn fuck's sake, war. So hopefully they're not doing that. You know, they don't need war to inflate away the U.S. debt. You know, the U.S. debt doesn't need to be like that. There's I'll explain this to you briefly, right? So there is a central reserve asset. It's not the dollar. It's called special deposit receipts. These are controlled by the World Bank. They're handed out at the start of each term to each country in the world, depending on the proportion of overall currency in the entire economic system that belongs to each entity. Over half of it belongs to America. Increasingly, more and more is belonging to the Chinese, especially since they launched their digital currency, which has ties to the central bank and is backed by real money, and then also inflated again with all of the loans that they've made to build out infrastructure in the Silk Road project. So this increase in Chinese liquidity has led to an increase in their proportional accounting for the overall currency in the economic system, which means that they're getting more special deposit receipts. And then that is the world reserve asset. This is what countries trade between each other and never tell you about in order to control and hedge against inflation in their own particular jurisdiction. Most countries have to pay outside of their own currency to buy energy. That's because in 1972, in combination with the establishment of the World Bank, the UN General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, GATT Treaty, was signed. That meant that America would protect all free markets. They'd do it if every country agreed to buy their oil and gas in dollars. It's all done on the SWIFT system, which self-invented in Scandinavia but co-opted for this purpose. And that's how the sanction regime is employed, through allowing or disallowing people to use that mechanism for distributing money between nation states. It's backed by RSRs, it's controlled by the World Bank, and it's the UN Agreement on Tariff and Trade, GATT Treaty, in 1972. With that treaty is various other links that it's illegal to sell certain types of drugs, which is why America controls the decriminalization of certain drugs like cannabis in other countries, not their own, because your country is signed up to GATT, the General Agreement of Tariff and Trades. Underpinning all of this is the guarantee from America that it and its allies, including Britain, will defend you if anybody illegally invades your borders, which have been determined and set after the end of the Second World War. Now, America's letting everybody down by not sticking it to Russia for their invasion of Ukraine. We can't all intervene in interstate conflicts. We can't all get involved in every little war. But when somebody creates a war of aggression and invades another country and steps across the border, then we are obligated to end that tragedy as quickly as we can. I search for peacemakers, but I know the rules. America, you're obligated to fix that situation. It's the rules. You should do it. But Skodberger's question was about inflation. And the fact is that all other countries need to trade in energy. They need to trade in dollars, which means that they need to hedge against the increase in the price of dollars against their own currency by having a large tranche of money in dollars. This means that the value of the American currency will constantly be rising against all others if they're measured in a basket. And that means that American going up means that your debt to America increases, which means that America's debt to other countries goes down because their currency is worth proportionally more and more and more. So the American debt is constantly being deflated. So the total value of American debt, which is extremely high and is always shared by economists and people on YouTube or Twitter, is actually irrelevant, and those people demonstrate their ignorance, that they don't know these treaties in the world about economics. They don't understand because it's highly nuanced, deeply complex, and you'd have to be experienced in various fields to even be aware of these things. You'd certainly need to probably be a very old man or lady with grey hair and have been born probably in 1940 or 30, as I was. So I know all these things, but those people you see that are popular on Twitter, they don't know these things. And so it doesn't matter what the total of American level of debt is, because it's constantly being deflated by the mechanics in the overall economic system. The only danger to it is that China add more of their currency to the system so that they become a bigger part of the RSRs, so that their world assets constitutes more of a Chinese asset, and so that they have a greater impact on their proximate nations, and they can make people do what they want to do and then flip the world order and control people their own way. And them being a communist autocratic state, that would be desperately bad for humanity, because China, as much as I like Chinese people, China is not a democracy. It doesn't depend on the rule of law. It depends on one man's decision, and his decisions aren't as good as a series of judges who safeguard well worked on intergenerational basis of rules that are here to apply to fairness and equity across the world. And because China isn't that, it's a communist state that relies on an autocratic nature of one guy and his cabal of people to make up the fucking rules. You can never be sure you're safe, you can never be sure your property is your own, and you can never rely on the authorities protecting you against somebody bigger and more evil come along and abusing you. And that's the problem with communism. Not exclusively that it doesn't let individuals express their true potential, or that it tries to manhandle the economic system and abuse it. It's more a molestation of your rights as a human being. It's a fucking disgrace that it still exists on planet Earth, and fuck the Chinese state for being like that. But what can I say? This is YouTube. I'll get in trouble. I'll get in trouble, yo. I'll get in big trouble for saying these things. That's the truth, and that's what's going on in the world. And I've got a video coming out shortly just about these things, explaining it in a really fun, interesting way that'll also probably get me in trouble. But I've related, and I'm waiting, and when Gamestop pops and I can defend myself properly, then all these videos are coming out, and a whole lot more, because I know what's going on, and that's why I know where prices are going, and I know who's doing a lot of this shit. Anyway, this has been TradeSpotting. I'm coming to you from Edinburgh, where the Enlightenment reached the people, where we learned that we're in control. And here we're being shown it again by Roaring Kitty. He's coming out tomorrow with a live stream, and I can't wait to watch it. I'll also be live myself, maybe at the same time. I'll try and work around it, but it's sploshing. And I love a good sploshing when price is up 47%. See you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here. Yes. Let's get it, guys. Let's get it.